They try to silence the truth we shout, but we're still here, we're still calling out. Corruption hides behind a badge and name. We light the fire, expose the shame. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. The stories echo, the pain runs deep. For stolen lives we can't just weep. Elected power, but their hearts are cold. We'll bring the truth, let it be told. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they try to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight. The heroes undo the harm. Calling out corruption, we'll stand tall for justice and truth, we'll risk it all. My life mattered is the cry we sing. Together we rise, let freedom ring.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to Friday Night Lies. The week sure went fast, didn't it? I know at least it did for me. There was a lot going on in the world and a lot of interesting cases, hearings, and verdicts, and a lot of emotion going on this week in our country. So welcome back to Friday Night Lies. Thank you for joining us if you're here early tonight. If not, thank you for joining us on the replay. We decided, Julie and I, to go early tonight, 6 o'clock. That's the earliest we've ever gone with Friday Night Lies. Typically, we go later if we go at all. And we decided to go early because welcome back to pro football. It's officially kicked off as of last night in a real nail biter for those of you that love sports like myself, especially football. And you see, I do have my Packers hat on, but let me get it here. My trusty Chiefs hat for all of you Chiefs fans is very nearby because I actually grew up a Packers and a Chiefs fan. Thanks to my dad. He was a big Packers and Chiefs fan. He liked them both. I'd have to say almost equally, which to the chagrin of many of his good friends from Wisconsin. But yeah, he sure did. So let's see. Oh, I see. I emailed the YouTube link by mistake. Okay, Julie. I was about to say, let me bring Julie up on the platform and let's get going. But I see we don't have her here yet because I messed up. So give me just a second, guys. I'm going to email her the actual platform link. I guess I emailed her the crowd link. So, hey, Shauna, welcome back, sweetheart. Good to see you. We have a lot of interesting talk tonight. All right. It's always interesting if you follow true crime, because true crime, let's face it, it's interesting. Horrific for the victims because they're no longer here. They were unalived by the hands of someone else. Horrific for the families. But for those of us that follow the true crime, because we do want to see justice, it is interesting because we're a bunch of layers removed from the trauma. So we can say that. Now, when it's our trauma, and we've all had trauma, hopefully most of you have not had an unaliving type trauma, but trauma is still trauma. And we know what that's like, and we know how horrific it is for us at the time. And we may not ever think anything about it is interesting. But for those of us that are shielded from it, and we follow true crime because we're interested in the criminal process, we're interested in the judicial process, we do find it interesting. So we've had a lot of interesting occurrences going on this week. Let me send this off to Julie. Bear with me just a second. Sorry about that, Julie. I didn't mean to send you the wrong link. Here, I thought I was being so organized, sending out the link in advance and nice and early. All right, let's see here. Let me go to StreamYard here and invite Julie into the room. And then we will get going because we have a lot to cover tonight, and we're hoping to cover it all in about 2 hours, so we can all get to this interesting football game tonight. I don't know if it can top last night's nail biter with all the drama that ensued even prior to the first snap. That's for sure, but should be a very good game. Okay, Julie, it's coming your way via your email here in 3, 2, and 1. Sorry about that, everybody that wanted to join on the platform. You are getting your link now to the actual platform, not just to the friend zone. So we had an update this week in the Ellen Greenberg case. I don't find it to be a positive update. Okay, Jules, it's on the way because, it irritates the heck out of me because Ellen's family finally won their lawsuit against the city last February already. And they were supposed to have been given an undisclosed amount of money to help put their retirement fund back together because it's in tatters, because Philadelphia, in what I believe was crime and corruption, covered up the death of their beautiful daughter. And they were forced to hire their own private investigator, their lawyers and medical examiners, you name it, and crime scene analysis, the whole 9 yards. And they did win their that monetary settlement. But part of their agreeing to settle, because the defense attorney for the city of Philadelphia asked for a settlement. Come on, Zeus. Asked for a settlement, asked to settle because the medical examiner from all those years prior had walked back once again his decision on the manner and the means of death of Ellen Greenberg. So when she was first brought in for her trigger alert, because talking about autopsies really sucks, I know, but when she was first brought in for her autopsy, it was late into the evening. So he was only able to do part of it, and he had never actually turned her over. So in his initial autopsy report, he's citing 10 stab wounds to the front of the body, from the chest down to the abdomen, and then that's that. And so at that point, though, he's already leaning towards homicide, because who stabs themselves 20 times effectively, right, and can do that to their own selves and not have at least one or two of them be the actual stab wound that would unalive you. Sorry about the Zeus. My son is outside working on his car, and the Zeus is going to cry for a little bit in the background. So I apologize for that. Come on, Zeus. I'll see if I can get him to come in here with me into the office. Anyway, so then the next day he goes to finish her autopsy and turns her over, and lo and behold, she has 10 more stab wounds. So now we're talking about not 10 stab wounds, but we're talking about 20 stab wounds. So then he ends up concluding that this was an unaliving by the hands of someone else, homicide, and that she also had bruising on her body that was in various degrees of healing. So he's hinting towards domestic violence. I don't think he uses those words in his autopsy report, but then that is done. So then April comes around, and between then and April, there was no investigation done on who could have done this to Ellen Greenberg. Her fiance at the time, who should have been suspect number one, was not really ever considered a suspect, wasn't interviewed. They cleaned her apartment the day after. So the police were always pushing for unaliving of herself from day one. How is that even possible? How do you not check the actual scene of either her unaliving of herself or of someone else did this to her. So the whole thing was handled inappropriately. It screamed of crime and corruption. It's been a horrific nightmare for her parents. And I'm going to go grab the Doberman, because he obviously needs to come in here by me. He's having one of his meltdowns, Julie. So let me bring Julie up here with me, even Steven on our screen. Hi, Jules.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Doberman's not happy. He's not happy about it all.
I guess not.
I'm going to open my office door and see if I can get him to call.
Could you share? Okay, all right, never mind. Hey, everybody. I'll be with you in 1 second. We've got, I think we're first on the scene with this, but going to have a very interesting Friday. Lots going on up here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Come here. Yeah, I have a feeling we've been chatting a little bit, on the text there, and so I have a feeling it's going to be something else. So, sorry about Wednesday night for all of you that were with me live. I was not feeling very good yet. The food poisoning from last Saturday really took a long time to leave my body. I was pretty out of it most of the week last night. And even by Wednesday, I thought I was going to feel better and I could pull off a live stream. But the longer Steve and I lived and we were talking about the 911 calls, which are very hard to listen to, especially the one we were talking about, we had revisited Ellen Greenberg the following Wednesday, and then we talked a little bit about it again. And then we were comparing and contrasting the difference between true horror, that was the Idaho 4 911 call, where you can really tell that there is something traumatic going on and everyone is definitely sounding traumatized, compared to Sam's 911 call, which sounded very, very practiced and like some kind of play he was in. And so I was talking about that with my former dispatcher from Madison on Wednesday, and I just started to go downhill fast. I think, Julie, that was the quickest I've ever ended a live stream in the whole year that I've been doing this, because I just still can't seem to feel 100% after food poisoning. So hopefully tonight will not be like that, and we will be okay and get through a good 2 hours with you all, with all the updates that Julie has out of Massachusetts and that her and I have been following together this last week with the various shenanigans going on and just the kind of infighting and he said, she said, and people not being very polite or nice to each other in chats on live streams. I don't know, guys. Just when I think everything's going to calm more down. Come here, Zeus. And Zeus does not like it when my son is outside doing things without him. Come here, buddy. You're okay. He's a very, very, very emotional boy. Aren't you, Doberman? Yes, he's very emotional. But that's that. So let's get into it, Julie. Where I gave the little update that Ellen's family went to court on Wednesday, and now they finally got them to agree that it's time for you to pay the money. It's only been since February, and it's time for you to change her manner of death to a homicide, because it's only been since February since the medical examiner recanted in a letter and was read in open court that he was wrong and that it was a homicide. And we're still sitting here with no further movement on Ellen's manner of death or on the money owed to her family. So now the court date has been pushed to October. So we'll all continue to keep you aware of that. And I would appreciate any advocacy that you can do on your social medias for justice for Ellen Greenberg. It's longer than what Dan Markell had to wait for, but Dan Markell also had to wait a long time for complete justice. He's got 4 out of 5 now, according to many. Now, Julie, let's chat a little bit about the verdict that came in yesterday. A very fast verdict against Donna Adelson. Let's just chit-chat about that for a minute before we get into Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Hi, Paula.
Do you want to talk about that afterwards? Because, I mean, nothing's going to change there. We have kind of breaking news right now. So I don't know if
God.
We can go either way, but if you want to be first on the story first, live stream.
All right, Julie has breaking news.
Happened?
This is fantastic. I did not know this. So, Julie, let's have it. What is the breaking news?
What happened? I don't know where I am.
You don't know where you are?
Oh, shit.
Are you missing a video? It's okay. Take your time. So everyone has breaking news, those with us live. So this is exciting. And we don't know what happened. We're on our end, but we can help you. Do you want me to look up a video for you or something?
Well, am I back?
Oh, you were here all along. We
What?
heard you say what happened. We heard you the whole time. You were never gone.
Oh, okay. All right. Then you guys must have been gone. I don't know what happened. All I know is that I got the pinwheel of death.
Oh,
And I said, "Oh, am I still on?"
No, we heard you the whole time. We kept saying, "You're here, you're with us. Can we help you? What do you need?"
Oh, yeah. That's yeah. Well, yes. So we have breaking news up here in Massachusetts, but as far as LaDonna Donna Adelson, she's where she needs to go. She is going to eat carbs until her ass explodes out of her pants, and prayers for the Markell family, for Ruth, Phil, and all the family, the son Danny Markell, and like was it Phil Markell said, all of the families that Donna and company and her crime family ruined in this process. All the kids who are no longer going to have parents, pray for them because they deserve it.
Yes, and that's why I said 4 out of the 5, because from everything I can see, there's just no way Wendy didn't know what was going on. That's just my opinion, everybody. I know there's Wendy supporters out there who believe she was kept in the dark on purpose by her mother and brother, but I don't buy it. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if they have enough, though, to actually take her as far as they took Charlie and Donna. Come here, Zeus. Yeah, I don't think they do. But let's talk about that later. What's your breaking news? Zeus wants to know. Come here, Zeus. Zeus wants to know your breaking news. It's okay, buddy. Uh-oh. Think we lost Julie again. Wheel of death, maybe.
Wait, no, I'm here. I'm here. I'm
here.
just yeah, no, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah. Can you share my screen?
I absolutely can. Let me find it here.
And
all right, here it comes.
Coffee. Did I lose my coffee? Hang on.
I have to remove this one first.
I have priorities. I have to find my iced coffee.
Oh, yes. Find your iced coffee, sweetheart. So I wanted to tell everybody, our background is a sunflower field just on the outside of Madison, Wisconsin, where I'm from. And this photo was taken by a friend of mine, Archie Blacks from Madison, an amazing photographer. And he was kind enough to do a photo shoot for me when I first graduated from USC, because I didn't have the money at the time when I was out in USC. Everybody does photo shoots now for their graduations, which I had no clue because that wasn't a thing when I graduated with my undergrad, but it was a big deal. So all of my classmates who got their master's degree, all my friends out there were getting all these fantastic photo shoots. And I'm not going to lie, I was envious. I wasn't jealous because I was happy for them, but I was a little envious. And so when I got back 2 months after my graduation to Madison in July, my friend, who's somewhat of a professional photographer now, he offered to take this photo shoot for me in this beautiful sunflower field in Wisconsin. So I was lucky to have that done. So I wanted to put it up since we're just at the end of sunflower season, about to go into fall. I wanted to let you guys all see the beautiful sunflower field. That is not AI. That is really me standing in a field of thousands and thousands of sunflowers. So that makes my day every time I get a chance to see it. And when I saw it in person, I was like taken aback. I gotta tell you, I've never seen that many sunflowers in one spot. So anyway, Julie, in case you were wondering why we were surrounded with sunflowers, there's my story.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, everybody needs sunshine and sunlight and happiness, especially
yes,
with all
so
the crap
tell us what
do
we got for breaking news.
Yeah, so breaking news. So this just came out 2 hours ago. The Glazer was doing a ridiculous not live stream, where I guess he was trying to make a point by being like, "Oh, look at me! I'm gonna be edgy and put Turtle Boy versus Karen Reed, and I'm gonna call you all octards by doing this." So I saw somebody mention this, and I went to go look for it, and I believe we're one of the first because he's not doing it. So Essex County DA's office came out with the oh my God, collect yourself, Julie. Came out with the cause of death for Francis Gigalotti. That was the man up in Haverhill, Mass, Essex County, who you and Ed talked about, were one of the first police officers to talk about what happened and what you guys saw and what from there. So this came out. I tried to find Channel 7 WHDH, but they're like impossible to find on YouTube because they keep changing their name. But so this just came out. So we'll take a listen.
The death of a man who became unresponsive while being restrained by police is now being called a homicide. WBZ's Christina Rex is live in Haverhill for us tonight.
Yes, Christina.
And Christina, it's interesting. This doesn't mean necessarily that he'll be facing charges.
And that's right where he was too. That's where we saw where he was running up and down the sidewalk. And this is where he unfortunately succumbed to what happened to him.
No, it doesn't, David. The 7 officers involved are on paid administrative leave, but no charges have been filed yet, which is something that Francis Gigliotti's family wants to see change.
It was very bittersweet. You know, I wasn't surprised
That's his fiance
at all. It was something I've been waiting to hear all along.
Michelle Rooney reacts to the news that the medical examiner determined her fiance's death was a homicide. Dramatic video captured the moment 7 officers took down 43-year-old Francis Gigliotti outside a block of stores for change. All 7 officers were placed on leave from Haverhill Police.
I mean, I was there along with many other people and saw what they did to him. And it was disgusting.
On Friday afternoon, the Essex County DA revealed that Gigliotti's autopsy is complete. His cause of death, cardiac dysrhythmia in a person with acute intoxication due to the combined effects of cocaine and ethanol while being restrained, prone by police. The manner, homicide.
I'm still a little bit in shock, ever since July 11th.
Investigators say Gigliotti had been weaving in and out of traffic and acting erratically when officers responded. In a statement Friday, Haverhill's mayor wrote in part, "It's important to clarify that in this context, homicide is a medical classification and does not in itself determine whether any actions were lawful or unlawful. The DA's office continues to conduct an independent investigation into whether the officers' actions were justified." Gigliotti's family wants to see charges filed against police.
The next step should be being charged with the least manslaughter.
It doesn't bring him back, but he's looking down and I know he's saying, "Keep fighting, girl, keep fighting," and I will. We will.
Yep.
And the Essex County DA's office is still investigating those officers' actions. In a statement today, the DA said, quote, "We remain committed to impartiality, thoroughness, and transparency in that investigation." Live in Haverhill, Christina Rex, WBZ News.
Christina, thank you.
Thank you, Christina Rex. So that happened. That just came out.
Thank you, Christina Rex. Yeah.
So that just came out, and I mean that's here. Well, let me. I don't want to get next door, but that's here. This is Essex County right here. That's happening right here, and that's where that happened. So from what I gather, and it's a good thing that we're talking about this number one because it just came out, so we can get we can comment on this. But number 2, we have a police officer that we can speak to about this. So from what I'm hearing is that Steve Cooper was on the scene with Channel 7. He got a different perspective, but from what it sounds like they're ruling this a homicide because they arrested the man on the scooter. They arrested 2 people. They arrested the guy the guy who was filming, saying, "Be easy with that boy, be easy with that boy," for interfering, causing a like because they had a hair across their ass. My opinion. But they also arrested the guy who sold him the deal, which is what everyone kind of suspected. So I think what they're going to do is frame this as it's a homicide because the guy who sold him the dope gave him a dose or shouldn't have done it or whatever it is, instead of the 7 people who jumped on his back. Anyways, Kat, what do you see as a former law enforcement officer?
Well, I mean, we watched that together, and we had, it was tough to watch, right? I mean, that was
horrible.
Very hard to watch that, and I never, ever advocate for that many police officers needing to be on top of somebody. I do think that, we haven't really had a chance, Julie, to zoom in. I don't have the technology on my laptop to zoom in and really get closer. I don't think all 7 of them were ever on top of him per se, because what I'm trying to say is if you were to have like a camera, if I were to get the camera footage from the night I was injured in the library on the UW-Madison campus and look at it, if there was a camera in the corner looking down, it would probably look like there were 2 people laying on top of me at one point, but that really wasn't the case. And then I had to change the situation. So I had to wrestle myself on top of him. And then the other 2 officers swarmed in to help me. And if you were looking at it from an above camera, it would look like all 3 of us were laying on this suspect, but that was never the case either. So I think we have to be very careful. I personally want to be very careful how I judge police officers and how they handle a bad situation. I was very extra careful that night. We looked at the video, but I also was critical because in my mind, I thought they should have been able to restrain him much sooner, that it should have never, ever gone down to them being in that corner of that store of him trying to enter a business. I mean, they had, in my opinion, from what we saw, they had plenty of opportunity, Julie, to get him in control. I mean, and if they had to put him in handcuffs and wait for an ambulance to come to assess his medical situation and take him to the hospital for a medical evaluation, if he needed to be put in protective custody for his own sake, I mean, that all should have happened, and none of that got to happen because he passed away right there on the sidewalk. Now, the fact that they've come out with this news that the medical examiner believes that it was a homicide. I have they said anything about the drugs in his system? Zuzi, quiet.
They found cocaine and they found booze, ethanol. So they're saying that it was like what Ed said. What was it? Cardiac arrhythmia due to excitement. That's basically what they're saying. That well, his heart was going in and out because of severe cocaine and ethanol intoxication. And so they arrested the person who sold him the drugs. That's what we saw in the clip prior to that, before he was zipping in and out, and that's why he was all around. So they arrested that guy. So I think that's how they're going to frame it, which is, well, he was on drugs. He was going to die anyways. So.
Well, two things can be true here. Okay.
Oh, sure.
The police didn't handle it correctly because they didn't get him in custody quick enough. And maybe then they could have gotten him in the ambulance sooner had they gotten him in custody faster, given his erratic behavior. Mm-hmm. And it can be the fact that he died of a medical issue related to having too much cocaine in his system and already having a weakened heart potentially. I do believe he had, we don't know if he had any history of heart issues or how many years he had been an addict. If he was an addict, we don't know any of that. So I think in this kid's situation, two things can be true. And I would hold off any type of crime and corruption talk about the cops in this situation, because I don't feel that was the case. If anything, it was a bad decisions made by them at the time in how many people were surrounding.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Where they couldn't get enough air, right? So I think we've got two things going on here, and it will be interesting, heartbreaking for the family. Like I was saying at the top of the hour, it's heartbreaking and tragic for the families. It's interesting for us that are looking inward on it and trying to critique it and analyze it from our background. And I did appreciate Ed being on the show with us that night. Ed is an ex law enforcement officer from Indiana, and he had years of experience with varying different calls, 30-some year career, similar to Sean. And I would put Ed on a very similar level to Sean. Ed's past experience in the law enforcement agencies and the level of law enforcement that he was at the end of his career, and now he's running for sheriff. So Ed knows he's welcome back anytime, and maybe we'll see if he wants to come on with us next week. Now that we know more about this, I'll let him know that there's been an update and that it's been changed to a homicide. So you were on that. You were on that, Julie, because you said the guy on the moped was suspect to you. Is that who?
Like the way that he kept following.
Is that who we believe was the one that was arrested?
I'm getting noise for some reason. Oh, sorry.
Was that who we believe was arrested?
Sorry about that.
Okay.
So that's
is
the
that
guy
who
on the
was
moped
arrested,
was
Julie?
Yeah, so that's the second guy. There was the guy who was recording saying, "Be easy with him. He's got issues." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. Don't worry. We'll just whatever." And then there was the guy on the moped going back and forth. That was the person that they arrested. And in one of the other clips I saw, they said, this person in the moped who's going back and forth, that person was arrested. So
yeah. Hey, Kaz, great to see you again. MCAT's back. Hey, MCAT, Shauna, and hey there, Paula. Great to see all of you live so early on a Friday night. Thank you for all being here live. We really appreciate it, and thank you to all of you on the replay. You're great, and we appreciate you as well. So, again, what a horrific fad. The situation with drugs is just so sad because I don't have any clue what it would be like to have to get off of drugs. I've never been on any drugs. But it must be a horrific situation to be in where you're addicted to something like that. And then you end up being in a situation where you're not yourself, you're out in public, you're acting very bizarrely to the point where police have to be called. And then you lose your life to this. And it sucks, it just sucks for the families and for everyone.
Yeah. The that came, the one that we saw where like he's walking back and forth in the car that he goes over to, I found out later that was his fiance's car that she pulled up and was like, hey, what's going on? But it was, again, he was known to the area. He was known to have something mental going on. So he, but like he had a business. He was, known in the community. It's not like he was, like a junkie on the street or whatever. He was known in the community. It's just that, sometimes, shit happens and you're down on your luck and, you got to get a pop or whatever it is. And that day that just happened where he was erratic, then that's what called. It was a medical that they called, and then whatever happened. But just like you said, that there should have been a time where like it shouldn't have taken to go into like him going into all these places or trying to go into a place where all of a sudden they jump on top of him. They should have grabbed him immediately. I think there were 3 officers right on the scene when there was a car and he's walking back and forth and they had him by the hand and then he takes off and they chase after him. They should have had him right there. Like that's what you said when you saw it. Like grab him right there, just put him in the car and say, hey, we'll take you where you need to go. Just get in the car, come with us for a little bit. Like arrest doesn't mean, handcuffs doesn't mean arrest. It just means let's get you calm so we could talk to you,
right. Exactly. And if he wouldn't come with them, if he was too frightened and too worked up in his own self because of the drugs and how they were affecting him, then they would have had to have, just effectively gone in and made the arrest. And however that would have looked, I think they could have done it though well before it came to that of him, laying on the ground, and all of them having to, pile on top of him like that. It's just, it was not. It's never good when that happens, when there's that many involved and with one person on the ground. It's optically, it's terrible for the police. Ultimately, though, their job is to protect the public from a person acting erratically. So they didn't want him going into that store. So they had
absolutely.
So they had to stop him from that. Come on, Zeus. They had to, but it optically it didn't look good. But I think that if the medical examiner believes that this was a death that was brought on by an overdose of the drugs, then I guess the justice for the family is going to look like these people who sold him these illegal drugs, legal substances. Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to see with that. But one thing that Ed said that I didn't think about is when he talked about well, you have concerns for firearms, and I was like, well, we're in Massachusetts, firearms are like a no around here. Everybody, nobody really carries them, and whatever. He's like, no, the firearms on the police, meaning that they got so close to him and they kept him on the ground, and they got close so that they could have grabbed their piece and caused more of an issue. So he's saying that can always happen, but I appreciated that Ed said that, and that can always happen. That's why you don't want that many people with guns on him, that many officers with their guns right there where he could grab and reach all around him so closely. You want a majority of them surrounding now think about it. They all didn't need to be down there that low next to him. They could have just surrounded him. There's no way he's getting out from a surrounding of officers. And then the 2 or 3 that would have to restrain him until they could actually get him to stop fighting and get the handcuffs on him so they could stand him up and get him to the ambulance. That's how that should have all gone down. And it's very sad for the family that they couldn't have. Now, there's no way to know if he would have made it into an ambulance or not. I mean, if he was having this cardiac situation, he may not have made it either way to the ambulance. There's really, no way that we'll know now. But well, Kat, in your career, I mean, I know that you were on a college campus. I mean, were there times that you had to deal with acute intoxication of whether it be alcohol, whether it be drugs or whatever the case may be, and like for example, we were talking about Narcan and how people, are given Narcan and what happens when they get up. And that happened right over here where there was a person who was, passed out and I called the police and the paramedics came, and the guy, and I don't know if they gave him Narcan or whatever it was, but the paramedics went over and was like, hey, what's going on? And the guy immediately got up swinging
And that's what they said too. They're like, they get mad because they come up swinging, like, you got to fight these people, and like that's why you got to like restrain them at all costs. But that doesn't mean 4 of them sit on you or like push you down while you're screaming yourself blue in the face. But anyways, you must have had interactions with that. I mean, can you see like similarities between like what you've seen and what you like what we saw a couple weeks ago with Ed and what we just saw here?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there were plenty, Julie. There were plenty before me. There were.
I can imagine.
I mean, when you're dealing with
Big 10 school like that.
Yeah, well, and just a big college campus and a big city, Madison, which is 300,000 people, 289 something, I guess now. Capital city, always something going on there. Lots of bars. I mean, lots of bars in the whole state of Wisconsin. So there's going to be intoxicated people. When there's a bar, there's going to be some that don't drink responsibly. That's just the way that anywhere, any city. But when you're in a college campus, yeah. So there was one incident that was quite. It wasn't I wasn't first on the call. I was back up on the call, but it was a young college age student. I don't know if he was actually a student. He might've been, I don't remember, but he was only in his 20s and he was high on, I believe it was PCP.
Oh boy.
Lost his mind, kind of like Zeus is doing right now, because Zeus is upset that his papa's outside. Usually
that was barking his head off.
Yeah, usually he calms down quicker than this if I just tell him go lay down, and he can see Zach's right out in the driveway, but he gets very emotional. He wants to be outside with him, and he tells us about it. So usually, eventually, if he doesn't calm down, I'll have to go put him in his house, and he'll have to take a time out. And then he'll take his baby, and I'll put him in his house, and he'll take his baby, and he'll calm down for a little bit.
Making it seem like Donna in court.
Yes, Zeus is very emotional. But so this young man had a complete epic meltdown based on the drugs in his system. And he literally went into the University Club, which is this beautiful old building on campus. It's a historical landmark. And they were having a wedding. It was a Saturday night, and it was a wedding reception at the University Club. It's a beautiful building, beautiful wedding. They had this huge ice sculpture thing that by the time I got there, it was all over the floor. So he attacked the ice sculpture thing first. He like literally ran into it and attacked it and like it was a person, and it went all over, and he was cut from the ice. Then he took the champagne glasses, the beautiful champagne glass like fountain thing, and he just ran his hand up like that, swiped it, and he was bleeding, cut up, running around, and then he decides to take his clothes off. So now naturally. Right. We've got a naked 20-something-year-old running around the University Club with having a drug episode and bleeding, and people are screaming. I mean, can you imagine if you're at a wedding reception and all of a sudden this happens? I mean, there were people traumatized, screaming. I mean, it was a nightmare. I mean, I was outside perimeter. I didn't see what happened until I got to go in and help with getting everybody separated out, witness statements and such. But it was a nightmare in there. There was blood, ice, glass. It was so
sounds like a hockey game.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many calls when I was there and during my years, even though I wasn't an officer as long as Sean and Ed. But I don't remember them all.
You still did it. Yeah, you still did it.
Yeah, it's been so long. I don't remember them all. But since I left duty, since I left the University Police Department, my brain fog, ensues and all the other things. Now, I still have that call like vividly in my mind, even though I wasn't first on the scene. But I was also first on the scene for a bomb threat. And that was my call, and my backup and we all arrived at the same time. And that was at 5 a.m. And that one involved a young college student who was a PhD student, not unlike Brian Kohlberger. He was a PhD criminalist student, and he had decided that the whole world was going to hell in a handbasket, and he thought it'd be best if he just showed everybody that we can take control and we can build these little tiny mini BOM, S's. And he built his own in his apartment, and it went off in his apartment. So there was a fire call in his apartment, but no one knew it was related to the B word threat. Yep. I don't know if YouTube wants me to say that. Zusi. Zusi's I'm gonna have to get his baby here in a minute and put him in his little house to take a napper. So that was scary. I'm not gonna lie. I think I had a few calls that actually scared me while they were happening. Most of them scared me after they were done, because when you're in the minute, your adrenaline and all your training comes out. So your training clicks in and your adrenaline and you're not really scared. But that call, I'm not going to lie to any of you, that was a scary call. I remember driving there fast down University Avenue thinking, whoa, I could die tonight, like I could die in the line of duty tonight. I mean, that sometimes that does flash through your mind. And we were able to it wasn't a real bomb anymore because it had been disengaged when he screwed it up in his apartment, because he was burnt from head to toe. By the time he was hiding in a bathroom. By the time we found him, my partner and I, the other officers were dealing with crowd control and getting everybody out of the building. And the bomb squad was there, and the Madison police and the Dane County sheriffs and the UW police. And it was a scene. And this, interestingly enough, this was after I had come back on duty, after I hurt myself, after I had gotten better for a while. And so it was in the building right next door to the building where I had gotten hurt all those years prior. So it was it was weird. It's like, wow, both of my biggest calls of my career practically happened right next door to each other. And so once we found him in the bathroom. So I was assigned to him then at that point by my sergeant, and I had to stay with him. So then I had to escort him out, take him into protective custody, escort him to the ambulance, ride with him in the ambulance, and go to the hospital. And I was stuck with him all the way through. And that ended up to be a 17-hour shift day for me.
Really? Wait,
yeah.
Wait, the guy that built the bomb who burnt himself and hid in the tub, you had to escort him and stay with him?
Yep. I was.
That must have been wild. What kind of stuff did he say?
Oh, he was out of his mind.
Out of his tree, yeah.
He was out of his mind.
He must have been the craziest person on earth back then.
I think he was
legit.
He was legit probably the craziest person on campus that night, for sure, if not that month or maybe that year. I mean, there were others through the years that had major meltdowns. I mean, going to college is so much pressure. And a lot of times parents don't realize how much pressure they're putting on their kids. And it came out later that his parents admitted that they were, they loved him and they cared for him, but they felt as if that it was partially not their fault, but they knew that they were putting a lot of pressure on him to do well and to get good grades. And a lot of kids feel, even though their parents mean well, because we always want our kids the best for our kids. And I think sometimes we come across as being helicopter-like or pushy, and then there are some parents, unfortunately, that I did meet that I thought were really unbelievable. I mean, like, not good in the aspect of pushing their kids. Like we would have to call them because their kid was taken to the hospital for a mental health watch. And the dad, this is one call I remember so vividly. The dad got there, where's my daughter? And he was all like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, sir, you need to calm down. We're here. We're not the enemy. Why did you bring my daughter to the hospital without my permission? I said, we don't need your permission to bring your daughter to the hospital. She's over 18. Yeah. And she's asked, thinking of unaliving herself, sir. So you need to calm the fuck down and sit down. But there were so many cases of dealing with overbearing, I guess we'll call them. And they did label them helicopter parents at one time.
Well, that's a nice term.
That's a nicer term.
Is what they are. Yeah.
Yeah, they're overbearing. So, I mean, yeah, give it a nicer term, but no, very overbearing and sometimes overly rude to the staff in the dorms or the staff in the apartments where their kids live. And it's a lot. It's so much more than I think most people ever realize when you're a university police officer. I would always get people would say to me, "Oh, you're a campus cop," and I'd be like, "No, actually, I'm a full-fledged police officer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
deputized. Right. I'm a deputized sheriff. I could literally transfer if I wanted to the sheriff's department. So you get that. Campus cops are very under-respected, and I've never cared for that. So I'm always sticking up for anyone who's ever been a police officer on a college campus. Now, there still are some very small college campuses that don't have police officers. They have security level, more like security level, or they have police officers, but they're not fully certified and they don't carry any weapons. So they're more
like rent-a-cops.
It's something in between. Well, they're not rent-a-cops. No, it's more than that. It's a high level of security. They're trained trained almost like police officers, but they do not
no weapons.
They don't have arresting powers. But it's they're very well trained. And again, I don't love that whole rent-a-cop crap either, because people that are security officers at malls and at other places where they have to have security. Like, for instance, when you go to a concert and all the trucks are parked out there, those are security officers that are watching all those millions of dollars of equipment. And so I don't know why in our country we want to lessen something that someone does. It's something that I've always been stunned about. And no matter what kind of job you have, if you're a janitor, if you're a waitress, if you clean houses for a living, if you're a babysitter, if you're a caregiver, whatever you do, that's great because you're doing a job, you're helping people. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to put Zeus in his little house. I don't know why people do that, Julie. I'm not saying you did it, but those are the terms. Those are the terms that people use. They call police officers on college campuses, campus cops instead of what they truly are, which is police officers, and security guards. They rent-a-cops, which I've never understood this. Why you want to make someone lesser than what they deserve to be? Anybody who has a job is good enough for me that you're willing to be out there and try to make a living in this crazy world.
In fairness, I got the rent-a-cop thing from cops. So that's like, well, so I figured that you'd be on board with the rent-a-cop because you're an actual cop. So
no, I know. I worked with some real jerks. I'm well aware of how jerky cops can be. There's great cops out there and there's shitty cops.
There are a lot of assholes. Well, yeah, there are a lot of assholes. No matter
there's a lot of assholes.
An asshole everywhere. Asshole bakers, asshole fishermen, asshole, ophthalmologists. Yep.
Exactly. So, so good. Well, thank you, Julie, for being on the ball.
Everybody hit the like button for cat stories in wartime at University of Wisconsin.
Oh, thank you, everybody. There's more. There's a lot. There certainly were a lot. I mean, we maybe we'll start just telling one or two on Friday Night Lies.
Yeah, there you go. I'd love to hear it. I mean, it's so rare to find police officers, on here that aren't and then we broke down the door and we punched him in his face and we said, give us give me a break. Tell me what actually happens.
My cop stories are truly just your everyday average police officer calls that 99% of police officers get. The other ones are the 1%. The super dangerous, super horrible calls are like 1% in most of the cities in America. Obviously, some of the bigger cities where there's more danger and more crime, those police officers are going to get in a lot more dangerous calls on a more regular basis. But the majority of us that are police officers in towns Madison size and smaller and even smaller, like here in Daytona Beach, for instance. This is a town of 40,000, So sure, you've got your dangerous calls, but most of the time you just have what I consider to be interesting calls. And most of the time it's people making that really bad mistake the first time in their life. And they're just one and done criminals. They'll never do it again. They hate themselves for doing it. They know they effed up. Most of the calls we deal with, that's what they are. They're just people that are doing something really stupid on any given night, either involving domestic violence or involving getting in a fight in a bar or a fight with a friend at a house party. Or running from the law because you have a warrant for something else that's not even that big of a deal. Like, people run from the law because they owe child support and they're about to get pulled over and they know they're going to get arrested and they have to go to jail. And in order to get out of jail, you have to pay up on your child support. And so a lot of people that run from the police are running because they have a warrant for something that isn't a dangerous type crime. But now they've just run from the police. So now they've committed a felony. So they've just made their life worse. And so a lot of times that's what happens is people take something that was simplistic to deal with and they turn it into a major problem.
Yep, make a mountain. Well, it's the opposite of making a mountain out of a molehill. They take a molehill and they turn it into a mountain by pushing it off and going, well, I'll just do this and think they're gonna. Nope, doesn't work that way. Bite you in the ass.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. So before we transition to your next topic, let's just say that I do believe that justice for Dan Markel was somewhat finally wrapped up. Me personally, I don't know that there's enough of enough to bring Wendy to a full trial. I just don't see it. But I could be wrong. We could be shocked here in the next few weeks. They may arrest her and give it a try, but I don't know. Now with Donna, they definitely had almost the same evidence that they had for Charlie, very similar trials, very similar witness statements. And I just felt there was no way Donna was not getting convicted. What did you think about that?
So I'm very surprised that they came in as fast as they did. I figured that they were going to come in early the next morning, but they were like, nope, done. Go.
Oh,
do not
yeah.
pass go. Do not pass. Do not collect $200. Go directly to jail. Actually, no, she's already in jail. Go directly to prison with your honey buns and your ass exploding carbs and like just done. But
Yeah.
I was surprised that they didn't sentence her because like Emily D. Baker said, and I remember with the Sarah Boone stuff. Like Sarah Boone is like she sucks like on the level of sucking, she sucks. But like LaDonna Dawn and her family are just miserable people. But
it was kind of like I said. I think I said last week. Let's just put this up to the stage.
True, very true, Kaz.
Yeah, and Kaz, let's do a sidebar here for a minute. The garbage situation going on in Canton, and on Monday when we had our makeup session for last Friday, Julie, remind everybody again what John Camo has been up to.
Yeah, so I look for this today too. I'm not sure if he was able to do it. He was going to go live. So John Camo, Mr. Dixie, in Canton was getting together a garbage party because there's been a garbage strike since July 1st in a lot of communities, but one of them is Canton. And so what they've done is a lot of like sporting groups, like the kids in high school, whatever it is, they would get groups together and they would go to different houses and say, hey, if you need your garbage picked up because you have to go to the dump, and if you can't do it, maybe we'll have somebody pick up whatever it was. So they would start doing a collection. So he said, hey, why don't we do something like that? We have Richie, the Ducky King. He has trucks, and he's close by. Let's see if we can get a group together, and if somebody needs the garbage taken care of, we'll go around and we'll make a day of it. So he was supposed to do that today, but I thought he said that he wasn't feeling well. Either I don't know if it was Wednesday or Thursday. I think he mentioned that he wasn't feeling great, and I didn't see anything on Twitter or on YouTube. I know he said he was going to go live afterwards. They were going to have drinks after they did stuff and go live. But I'm not sure if they were able to do it. But they're still on strike, which is unfortunate. Now they're trying to get more Healy involved, and the company basically told them, screw. So that's that. So still garbage.
When I was talking about different occupations and how every occupation is important to me, every occupation matters. It takes all occupations to make this crazy world survive. And we should respect every single buddy and everybody that has a job and that is able to work and no matter what they do. So thanks for saying that, Kaz and MCAT, about your garbage collectors. Because I when I run into mine outside, I always thank them for doing such a difficult, hard job. And so I just wanted to I got to add that back up there real quick. So just for the heck of it today, because we obviously just finished up the Karen, Zeusy, quiet. We just finished up the Karen Reed trial not that long ago. And now most of us have been following along with Donald Adelson's trial. I was just curious so I asked Google, what are the 10 most infamous trials, Julie? So it was number 10, the Menendez brothers, number 9, Joan of Arc, number 8, Leopold and Loeb. They were the two that thought they were going to get away with unaliving, and they were captured within just days. They thought they had this. Look it up if you're interested. They thought they had this really interesting plot and that they were going to get away with their crime, but they literally had him in like 2 or 3 days. Rodney King, Socrates, the Manson family, Nuremberg, Salem witch trials, Bruno Hartman, and O.J. Simpson. So those are, according to Google, the 10 most famous trials. So where do you think the Adelson, almost 11 years long now, that they have been basically arresting people and taking them to trial for the death of Dan Markel? Where do you think that could fall in here if we looked at this in like 4 or 5 years?
Oh, as far as infamous, I mean, there's so many more that I would think of besides Adel. I mean, this seems kind of just like the run of the mill, like a bunch of assholes thought they were above the law. Turns out, no, they weren't. And like, that was it. And but
it's pretty convoluted. I mean, not many people's justice takes this long in the form of arresting people. Like Ellen Greenberg's is taking forever, but they've never gone to trial with anybody. They've never arrested anybody. I think Adelson family trial and the other 3 is going to make this list someday, or at least maybe the top 25. I'd have to look and see where they ranked other trials.
Where are the Rosenbergs?
Pardon?
Where are the Rosenbergs? The Rosenbergs, the ones who sold secrets?
Oh, yeah, that might be. I didn't look up the next 10. I just looked up the 10, the top 10.
I mean, that's pretty infamous. I mean, they executed both of them.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's probably, maybe if I put in, give me the top 25 most infamous trials, I bet it would be in there. I'll look that up for next Friday. But I was just curious what you all thought about where the Adelson trial could fit into this list, because it was, the amount of money that's been spent and the fact that the FBI was involved, as well as the Department of Florida Law Enforcement, Tallahassee, City of Tallahassee. The amount of man hours put into these five trials. Yeah, the middle woman, the two.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this
the
was
getaway driver, the middle woman, the getaway driver, the shooter.
Yeah, there's a fifth.
And his mom. So 5 arrests, 5 trials. It's crazy. And now we'll see. Will Wendy be next? I don't know. But there's been a lot of chatter on the social medias. Of course, a lot of people in both camps there's people that don't believe Wendy really knew that she might have had an idea, but didn't want to think about it, didn't want to go there, didn't want to believe her family could do that. And then there's those who absolutely think she knew everything, but they kept her out of it to protect her. And she only knew the minimal. But she did know and could have at any time stopped it. That's the key.
That's what I think. Yeah.
If she knew that they were going to do it and when, and she could have stopped it, can they hold her accountable then, as they've held Charlie and her mother accountable?
Wouldn't that be like conspiracy? I don't know what the law is in Florida, but wouldn't that be like a conspiracy where it's like, well, just because you didn't do the actual act, you can still contribute to it,
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what they got Charlie and her mother for. They could get her for, if she knew that the act was going to take place and she did nothing to stop it. I'd have to, I just read the parameters. Somebody put something really good up. I knew I should have copied it. They were giving the gist of how Wendy could have known about it, but because she didn't help with pulling it off and didn't do anything that had to do with pulling it off, that she couldn't be held responsible, even though she knew. So that was interesting. I'll have to look that up for us for next week, because I'll look into that and see how she could get off, and what level of knowing gets you off of conspiracy.
Well, because you know, federally, if you know, there's nothing you can do. And in Massachusetts, it's similar, where like if you know something's going on and you don't say anything, like that's the big story with the John OKeefe case, is that if you knew something happened and you didn't come forward and say, hey, I knew this happened, then guess what? You're just as culpable for the same effect. So I don't know what it's like in Florida.
But you can't be charged with conspiracy to commit murder.
Right. Yeah. Before the fact. So, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Right. So just for knowing something bad's going to happen and you don't do anything about it because you have your own reasons, you're scared, you don't want to be involved. I don't think they can. They have to prove that she conspired with Charlie and Donna for the murder to be committed. So MCAT says other good trials. What do you got here? Other good trials. Karen Reed. Yeah. Right. Exactly. I don't know.
Ollie North. Yeah.
Well, yes, Oliver North, Derek. Derek. Was it Siobhan? Is that how his name is pronounced?
Yeah.
Like Floyd. Yes. Oh, yes. Kyle Rittenhouse. That debacle. Stand Your Ground Law, and the other trial. They found him innocent. Right here in Florida, in Sanford. What was his? It was kind of the premise for the Florida Stand Your Ground Law.
Yeah, that guy. What's his name? I know who you're talking about.
It's just right on the tip of my brain.
What the hell is his name?
I know. It's anybody chat. I mean, and the young boy. I
know that's the famous one with the hoodie, and he went out with Skittles and shot him.
Was it Tyrone? I used to know his name by heart too, because I always felt terrible for him and for his family.
What the hell is his name?
George.
Yeah, George, whatever. Yeah, George Zimmer and Tavon Martin.
Tavon Martin. Yeah, it was Tavon, not Tyrone. Yes, Tavon and Martin, and then George was
George Zimmer.
Yeah, he was a piece of work, I'll tell you. And that Florida Stand Your Ground Law, we have him to thank for that piece of crap legislation. So I so hope they can get that fixed. It's a terrible law the way it's currently written. It gives all the power to somebody just vigilanting and taking. I mean, I could go out there and have something bad happen to me, and someone could claim that it was that I enticed them, or that I pulled out in front of them and started yelling at them, and they felt threatened by me, or they thought they saw a gun in my hand. I mean, that's how loose the Florida Stand Your Ground law currently is. It's absolutely horrible. And that's why we've been advocating for Deshaun Hudson, who was shot 14 times, and they did not take the person to trial because they said that his lawyers would be able to put in the Florida Stand Your Ground law, which is utterly ludicrous to me, that they didn't at least try to take it to trial. And then, of course, we were following along with Jason Veach and what happened as well, that they were claiming that his was the Florida Stand Your Ground law as well, which started out as just a verbal bar altercation. So they're misusing it.
That's funny that is considered stand your ground. When look at the Ashley, is it Ashley? I get them confused. Is it Ashley Benefield who's in Florida, and then there's one who's on TV? I forget the names, but there's the one they called the ballerina one. She was in her own home and got attacked by her ex-husband, and she's in prison right now because of
that happened down by Shauna.
Yeah, yep.
Shauna's area next to it's down in
Southern Florida. We'll say Southern Florida.
South Florida. Yeah, South Florida. Yeah, that was a very bizarre case as well. And I mean, I think there was some level of verbal domestic violence going on between the two of them for quite a while.
No, there's a lot. There's physical too. She even said it that it was physical, and
yeah.
I mean,
I think that's sad. I don't know if she's appealing. Now, here's the thing. That's funny. You should bring that up, Julie. I think you read my mind. And I'm not trying to go political here for those of you that I'm putting this up, but I saw this today. One of my friends sent it to me. And I just had to put it up because it was, there can't be anybody, not one single person in America that does not want to have people pay for if they were involved with Epstein and Maxwell. You can't say you don't want to know who these people are. It doesn't matter. Like the brave women that came on the screen and shared their stories with us, little pieces of them, not obviously all of them. Everybody wants these files released, and everybody is like fed up with it because these girls were abused, and young boys were abused. I'm sure too. They're just not any standing, able to come out right now. But there's got to be some consequences for people that were with Epstein and did the dirty deeds that they did. It's so despicable, and it's another example of money and power. And people think they can get away with it. And this is no different than Canton. It's no different than Stoughton and the Sandra Birchmore case. People with lots of money and lots of power think they're above the rest of us, and they think they can buy their way out of anything they do. The Adelsons, another example. So the Gulf of release the full unedited Epstein files, you blanking liar, made me laugh because whether you voted for him or not, he has lied about some of his participation with Epstein. I'm sorry, guys, but there's just no way that he did it. Hasn't. And Clinton lied, and other Democrats lied, and Prince Andrew lied, and there's other Republicans that have lied. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, she surprised me. I don't agree with her policies. I wouldn't vote for her if I lived in Georgia, but I give her a big, big standing ovation for her speech and standing up there with the victims and actually saying this is not about politics. This is not about Democrats or Republicans. That's what we needed. We needed to hear that from any legislator who's currently in Congress or the Senate. We need to hear it from the president. We need to hear it from the vice president. It doesn't matter who you vote for. If you're a criminal and you commit a crime, then the communities in this country are calling you out. We're calling out corruption. We're sick of your shit. We don't want to put up with it anymore. We're tired of the rich and the famous getting away with all their BS on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, because we know people are being unalived every day in this country, and shenanigans is involved. A lot of these cases are never solved, and we're just done with it. We have to be done with putting up with this because of power and corruption, Julie. It's despicable.
Yep, sure is.
So yes, Mayor MCAT, many people lied about Epstein-related issues. They're all sickos. Oh God, you guys, I have to tell you something creepy that happened today. I almost forgot about it. I think I want to put it out of my mind forever. I always forget what an open network Twitter X really is. And even Facebook has some photos on there if you accidentally find a site. And I don't know what the heck, I was searching for something today. And I know I was reading about Epstein, and I was looking on Amber Speaks Out? Hang on a second. I want to go.
Wasn't that the one that who was in DC that you had on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
I think that's her.
Amber Speaks Out, and she was a victim. I'm just looking on my Twitter X here, so give me a sec. Here we go. She was a victim. Amber Speaks Up. Amber Speaks Up. If you're on Twitter X, please follow her. She's amazing. I'm gonna just pull up her page here for a second. Let me share my screen with you guys. I'm so impressed with this young woman. She's an independent journalist. She's taking a lot of heat from people. There were a couple like creepy guys on her post today saying things about the outfit she wears, and basically saying, if you wear that kind of outfit, you get what you deserve. And basically saying Epstein only went after girls that wanted to have SPX.
And you invited, yeah. Yep.
Right. That they invited it because they wanted to make money and they were trying to support their families, and they were okay with giving old men massages because they wanted to support their families. So they asked for it. And so people were coming on her feed today, which really ticked
that's
me
like
off.
Weinstein said the same thing.
Right. So can you see that? Yeah, let me put it up here for I got to take this other one down first. Hang on a second. So I was getting kind of upset today when I was looking at her feed. Amber Speaks Up. And like I said, she's an independent journalist. She's fighting she's mostly covering this case right now. And she is a survivor. She says, independent investigative journalist, uncovering what others won't. Trauma-informed, survivor-focused, relentless. Follow me on YouTube. So she has her own YouTube channel now. Amber Speaks Up. So definitely give her a like and a follow. She had like maybe 5,000 followers on Twitter X a couple months ago. She's up to 38.6 already. And so this is really outstanding. And she keeps posting, since I'm closely covering Epstein survivors, I want to make this absolutely clear. I am not suicidal. I have no ideations. I have never attempted to harm myself. I'm not involved in CSAM. I don't drink alcohol or use illegal substances, and I'm a skilled driver. Because people have been unalived and it's been blamed on themselves. And that's, we know it. Nobody can prove it. She says, if anything unusual happens to me while reporting on this case, it must be investigated. Follow along for coverage. I'm going live. So she was live and she was on Capitol Hill. And this was a photo of Virginia. This was a quote from Virginia. I will not stop fighting until every single person who enabled Epstein is held accountable. Virginia, I always mispronounce her name. Do you know how to pronounce it correctly? Is it Giuffre?
Oh yeah, Virginia Giuffre. Yeah.
Giuffre? Yeah. Okay.
Wait, is it Giuffre or Giuffre?
Giuffre. I'm not sure.
Giuffre. Yeah,
Giuffre. Okay. Yeah. So, who survived Epstein's network and reportedly died of suicide earlier this year, which no one believes. Her family doesn't believe it. She was fighting for all of the survivors. I don't buy it for a second. And this was her when she was a young girl, when they abused her and ruined her life, because she fought depression and anxiety and survivor's guilt for those that didn't make it, that did unalive themselves from his, terrible deeds and Maxwell's terrible deeds.
Along with just
evil wench who had the audacity to go and say that, he never did anything.
Yeah, he was a gentleman.
He was a gentleman. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, right? Do you think we're all
how about that?
Like, people think we are stupid. Like, it makes me absolutely sick. So she writes right here, I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. I've made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me in the sake of my family, do not let them get away with it, and help me protect them. Too many evil people want to see them quieted. So we have to stand up. We have to stand up for her and for all of the survivors of these nasty humans that are so sexually deviant. I mean, it's criminal SS deviance is what you're dealing with when you're dealing with people like that. So what happened is that this is her when she was a little bit older. We need justice for her and for all of the victims of Epstein and Maxwell and all of the others that he entertained on his island and other places, New York City, Florida, all across the world, for God's sake. And so this person says, knowing personally that Trump gropes women without consent, believe he is as guilty as Jeffrey Epstein, and Epstein had enough decency to off himself. I don't know that he did. I don't think he did. I think he was M-worded in jail, to be honest with you.
Murdered.
But that's, everybody's got their own opinion on that too. So while I was on one of her posts today, this nasty man, like I said, came on there and was talking about outfits that she wears, Amber wears, and how she, is promiscuous, blah, blah, blah. And so I just clicked on him because I wanted to see, who is this monster and why is he coming on here talking schmack like this? Well, he only put that on there so that someone would click on his profile. And it looks to me like he's involved in the male, hey, cut out. In the male PORN world. And because his entire YouTube, he has a My Fans page, and his entire X channel has, very, very rated X photos. I'm like, how does X let this happen? Why is X such an open platform, guys, that people can put literally like just pictures that I don't ever think I'm going to unsee? And I didn't see him I didn't look at him on purpose. I just wanted to go on his page and find out where this scumbag, was from and who he is. It wasn't like I was trying to look at his naked self, but it was.
But there it was.
But there it was, and I'm trying to get us back in the platform here, Julie. There we go. But come here, buddy. Come here, Tanner. But there it was, and it was graphic, guys. I mean, I'm like, holy crap! I'm so naive. I can't believe I didn't realize that there was so much graphic content on Twitter X. I literally had no idea. And he's just promoting all of these PORN sites for gay men, and he had him and his partner up there doing all kinds of things on Twitter X that I never thought I would ever want to see, and now I'm never going to unsee it. And it's stuck in my brain. I'm going to have to think about a lot of other happy things. I'm going to have to watch a Disney movie or something tonight to get that. But like, be very careful what you click on social media, guys, because you could end up on, like I did, on this guy's nasty Twitter X account. It was not good.
That's
Julie, I'm going to take Susie and give him a bone and put him in his house for a nap. I will be. Do you have something I can put up for everybody?
Can you share the screen again?
Yeah, I won't be gone for very long. I'm just going to go get him a bone and put him in his cage to take a nap.
No worries, we got this.
He's just not a happy camper.
What thing?
Hi, Tanner. Tanner says, I got a haircut. I'm being a good boy. I'm the quiet one tonight. Okay, I'll be right back.
Role reversal. Okay, so one thing that happened. When the hell did this happen? This happened, I think it was last week. I think it was last Thursday or Friday. So we talked about the North Andover police officer, Kelsey Fitzsimmons, who gave birth to her son, dating a fight. Was engaged to a firefighter, had some issues at the end of, I believe, March, was on, oh my goodness, I can't think of the word, not disability service, but was on a reduced capacity because she was basically on desk duty, then did a whole psych profile for found she had postpartum, dealt with that, then went back to full time and had some issues. Her fiance applied for a restraining order, and what came out was full custody. And so 3 of her fellow officers went to her house where it was her and her son. Her fiance wasn't there, to serve her with a restraining order and to take the baby away. And allegedly, she went upstairs to go get things for the child. A police officer went upstairs with her, and allegedly, this is where the point is contested, is that she was packing things and then grabbed a firearm and made threats to unalive herself. One party says she made threats to unalive herself. One party said she pointed it at the officer. And anyways, the officer ended up putting, I thought it was one shot in her chest, but I'm sorry, I thought it was 2, but it was 1. She ended up surviving. She was charged with assault and battery on a police officer. She was charged with attempted murder on a police officer, and was held. She was held without bail. So she was in the hospital, but she ended up going from the hospital to, I believe she was in Framingham for a time. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think she ever made it there, but when she was discharged. But thankfully, not this past week, but the week prior, a grand jury was convened right here in Essex County, where they ran up the case with her, and they returned a bill to charge her with assault and battery with firearm. And they did not charge her with attempted murder and murder. They did not charge her with that. And so she's being represented by Martha Coakley, who is a former Attorney General for Massachusetts, and Tim Bradel. Now, Tim Bradel was in court for her when she was in the process of being released to her parents, and he gave a press conference. So listen to what he says, because he basically breaks it down.
We'll get to everybody, so don't worry. Who wants to go first?
I guess I think we all agree. One of the main things we were interested in is you said something about the wrecking ball to the case. The grand jury only came back with a very less significant charge.
Yes, they initially, the theory of the government's case here was that Kelsey intended to murder a cop, which is outrageous and completely ridiculous.
Murder, Tim, murder.
Of an assertion. And here, thankfully, the Essex County grand jury, and Kelsey's extremely grateful to that body for looking at the case in a realistic way. They found that their appropriate charge here was one count of assault with a dangerous weapon, which involves the apparent display of a weapon to cause someone to be placed in fear. A very, very low bar. And that's all they came back with, was that one charge. And if you look at the sentencing guidelines, she's in a position where she could very likely get a probationary sentence on this if she were guilty of it, which she is not. But the playing field has been radically shaved down. It's just really a totally different case now.
It seems like we're seeing a lot of these cases in recent times with the postpartum. Is she just having some issues that you made the argument today, so she can continue on trying to get some resolve to that?
Yeah, I mean, postpartum depression, one of the most common afflictions that a woman could have, giving birth, having a baby. It's a transient condition. That's the biggest word of the day on that, is that our experts and the Mass General experts recognize that postpartum depression is a transient condition. That's gone. She's fine. She needs her baby back. She's never been heard in a court. The only body that's heard any evidence is the grand jury. And even there was no cross-examination. And they still put the brakes on this. They still said this is at best, as a matter of probable cause, the lowest standard in the law, the lowest hanging fruit, that at best this is an assault. And it's just a completely different case. And like I said, the grand jury took a wrecking ball and destroyed the Commonwealth's case and completely rejected their theory that this was any sort of an attempted murder type scenario. This is a woman who was suffering from an affliction, who, based on words on a piece of paper, had 3 policemen come to her house and take her 5-month-old baby. A woman who's in the grips of postpartum depression, who was just scheduled to go back to work at the police department, was cleared, had her firearms given back, and her whole world was taken away from her because a guy went to the probate court right over there, filled out a piece of paper with full of self-serving allegations, and got her baby. So that's what we're dealing with here.
And unimaginable. What do you make of the judge's order today? Obviously, she's going to be able to go home, get out of prison, get out of jail. Is that sort of a step in the right direction?
Yes, the case is going in the right direction, and we appreciate Judge McCarthy's attention to the case. I think that she is being extremely cautious with the amount of conditions that she put on the case, but we will endeavor to comply with every condition she wishes, and we're committed. Kelsey is very committed to showing this court, showing the judge that she's fine, that she's in control, that she's not a danger. The only thing that's been aggravating her postpartum is having her baby taken away, being on the receiving end of these self-serving allegations, and then being charged with a heinous crime that ultimately was rejected by the grand jury. So we're now going in the right direction here. We're very optimistic that this case is going to get dealt with in the appropriate way. And for the short term, we respect the judge's ruling. We're happy to get these conditions in place, and we're going to show the court that this is not a problem for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. She's a cop. She's a CO, former CO. She's not some criminal who needs to be clamped down. And she's going to show that to the court, that she's going to handle these conditions, and she's going to do just fine.
When will Kelsey be released to her family?
Well, I think that through some Herculean efforts to get the court to get all these things in place, I think it's going to be tomorrow. So we're going to be very happy about that date.
Well, parents put a lot on the line with the judge having swearing. Do they want to say anything about their daughter?
Mom and dad and stepdad are wonderful, and they have put so much into this, and the families put so much effort into this. And I was just saying to them inside that when you have a great family behind you in court, literally they're behind you in court, that makes my job so much easier to say, Your Honor, look at this great family that's going to step up and make this right. And I think Judge McCarthy would agree that, it makes a huge difference that she can see this family, and they stepped up in every way she asked, and they're going to make sure this is a success. We're not in any way concerned about that.
And there is a hearing coming up on the restraining order. What are you hoping happens there?
So we're going to assess our options on that. We have to look at that hearing in light of this order today, and we haven't made any decisions yet, but we're going to do everything we can to reunite Kelsey with her baby when we can get the judge here to look at the case anew and figure out.
Good timing. Okay, so I had to step up because my neighbor stopped by. But one thing I wanted to ask you, because I've heard from a couple other streamers and people online who talked about this, they were saying that 3 officers to serve a restraining order was excessive, and no wonder why she freaked out. And I said, right. I want to talk to Kat about this, because when we saw this originally last week, 2 weeks ago, when we were talking about the Fred Gigliotti case as well, you said that that's not unusual, but the fact that they didn't bring a DCF, a Department of Child Services, along was, or at least like a
big mistake,
or at least not like EMS or something like that.
Right.
That's that like to me, this doesn't seem right from like the jump. Like, once more this information came out, didn't seem right. Like, wait a minute, this seems a little suspect. Like, what's actually going on? But can you talk about serving restraining orders and like what your experience is with them? Because you said that it's not that uncommon, because you don't know what you're up against. You come here and say, hey, I'm handing you this, and they can freak out. So can you talk about that?
Exactly. So serving restraining orders is interesting, because serving any kind of court documents or court papers doesn't have to be done by a police officer. It can be done by a service. I'm trying to think of their actual legal name.
What's the service?
Yeah, they
or a sheriff.
Yeah, right. You can work for a private investigator, for instance, can serve restraining orders. They can serve court documents. They're paid by a law firm to serve the documents on someone. So a good example of that is a friend of mine that I met when I lived in Colorado. After I left the police department, I worked for a security company out in Colorado for 2 years. So I did security at the Fort Collins Police Department. It was I was not a police officer. I was just a security officer, but they hired my company to help them with security for the lobby of their police department. They had constructed it in such a way that it was a museum of sorts, and it had all this paraphernalia and all kinds of knickknacks from all the years that the Fort Collins Police Department had been in existence. So when they built the new police department, they wanted the lobby to be welcoming to people, and they wanted people to be able to come into the lobby and look at all of like a museum type atmosphere. They had chairs there. And then behind the glass, the bulletproof glass, was where the dispatcher sat, and where you would go once you got scanned in to go in if you were having a meeting, or if you were there to meet with a detective or a sergeant or a police officer. But if you were there just to report a crime, you would walk up to this area and you'd talk to somebody, and then the police would come out into the lobby and meet with you. Well, when they first did this, they didn't really give it much thought that, well, wait a minute, who's going to protect people in this lobby now that's open to anybody? And you've got somebody in there trying to report a crime, but yet there's no protection for them. So they realized they were going to have to put up a security office in the lobby, a desk. So we were up on like this little platform. So we had to go up like 3 stairs on either side to get to this platform of this long row of desks. And that's where myself and 2 other security officers would sit. And come here, Zeus, come here. And we would guard the lobby, basically. And we were also in charge of scanning people's IDs, letting them up to the and sergeants. And we had security cameras all over, which is why when Kelly Deaver was denying that she remembered where the cameras were. I didn't buy it for a second. I still remember where all the cameras in my police department are. That they might have added some since I was there. And I still remember where all the cameras were located in the Fort Collins Police Department. So Kelly Deaver lied through her teeth. I'm telling you, she did. And so while I was working there, I met a former sheriff from the county that Laramie County, Colorado. And he would come in a lot and have meetings with the detectives because he would work part-time helping them solve cold cases. And he was a private investigator. So I met him and we chatted, and he asked me if I wanted to kind of intern under him part-time when I wasn't at the Fort Collins Police Department. And I thought, okay, I'd like to do that. So I was interning under him for a while. I don't talk about this very much because it was very hard and it was scary. And he ended up passing away. And so, he was unalived by a suspect. He was serving a restraining order against this man and divorce papers. And the weirdest thing is, Julie, is that I was supposed to go with him that day.
Oh, wow.
I was still learning under him, but he sent me to go serve divorce papers on another guy who'd been eluding his wife, but he wasn't considered dangerous. There was no domestic violence involved. He had never been arrested. He just didn't want to get divorced. So every time Stefan would find him, and rest in peace, Stefan, you were a good man, a good law enforcement officer. You didn't deserve what happened to you. No one does. No one does deserve to be unalived. But he was doing a job and trying to protect this woman and her children from this monster. And I was at the same time that he was going to this particular residence. I was on a golf course pretending to be a golfer. And I didn't golf anymore, but I did at one time. So I kind of knew how to look the part. And I was pretending to be a golfer, trying to serve this guy who had eluded us, getting divorce papers served on him for like 4 months. Every time we would be so close to serving this character, he'd get away from us. So this woman was getting more and more frustrated by the day because she couldn't get her divorce going, and he was impossible to serve. Come here, Sue. Come here. And so I finally got him served on a golf course. I get home and I'm watching the news, and it's the running story that a local retired sheriff PI had been killed in the line of duty. And I'm thinking it's somebody Stefan knows. I'm not thinking it's Stefan. And then they say the name is withheld for further, next of kin. So I wasn't thinking it was him. I was thinking it was someone else. Then the next day, his family calls me and tells me that it was him. And this man brutally beat him with a baseball bat. He was he was going to unalive the children and then the wife and then himself. That was his whole plan.
Christ.
So should Stefan had gone to that particular residence without backup? Absolutely not. I don't know what he was thinking by not taking a backup, by not calling the sheriff department and have him meet him there. People that serve any type of legal paperwork are putting themselves in jeopardy because in these particular cases where you already know bad things are happening, they already knew that she was postpartum. They already knew that she was not in her right mind, probably. Why would you go there like that and scare her and make her out to be a criminal without bringing along either a social worker or a therapist, someone in her family? I mean, anybody could have gone there to be with her. They did not. I don't like it, Julie. It stinks to me. I don't like it.
Yeah, there's something fishy about this. I mean, the more that comes out, it's like, wait a minute. So she's having issues, and again, she had her baby was 4 months old at this time, and they went to serve, but at the same time, the way it works here is ex parte. So it's one person can make a statement, and again, that's how it just works in Massachusetts, where you can go and say, this person's the craziest person on earth. We need this, that, and the other thing, and they go, oh, okay, well, better be safe than sorry. Let's do this. But in some cases, that could make things worse. Like I understand better safe than sorry, but some cases it could make things worse. But just not the fact that they didn't bring either a social worker or somebody from like fire rescue or just some kind of medical to say, hey, we're going to take them with the baby, not here 3 officers to serve you with this piece of paper, but also we're going to here 3 officers to serve you with this piece of paper during this time where, you may or may not be considered dangerous because we're serving a restraining order, but also we're going to, remove the child from the home. And you don't bring somebody who has dealt with that specifically to do that. That just, I don't know. Like, I mean,
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It really doesn't, Julie. Everything you just said is absolutely accurate. It makes absolutely zero sense not to bring someone along, knowing what her mental health situation is, knowing that she's a law enforcement officer. They treated her with zero respect. And I notice in the chat, and thank you, Kaz and MCAT and Sean and everybody that's saying these things. Nobody takes postpartum depression seriously. Nobody in our country.
Nobody takes women seriously.
Correct.
Postpartum.
Correct.
Like,
but
oh, she's a lady. Oh, of course, let's give her an order. Like,
right. Postpartum is one of the most underappreciated, terrible situations that a woman goes through that she has no control over. This is hormonal. This is the body doing crazy things to you after you've had a child. And none of us feel great after we've had a baby. I mean, we're happy that our baby's born. We're excited to be with it and happy, but we're in pain and we're tired. And our body just went through 9 months of hell, basically, without anybody really thinking much of it. And that's the other thing, is that pregnant women don't get the respect they deserve. I mean, nobody really understands it because they don't bother to read about it, what a woman's body is going through for 9 months. And it's just atrocious. Now, if you go to Social Change Warriors on YouTube, where you go to come to our shows, unless you join from a link from Twitter or Facebook, but if you go to our library, if you go to the video section, I did an interview with a fellow social worker. She was one of my students when I was a teacher. Well, it wasn't really a class. It was part of an internship program that I was an instructor in. And I was instructing a group of master's degree students in community social work. And she was one of my students, and I got to know her, and she had postpartum depression, and she put together a webinar. We did a webinar on it. So if you're interested in this topic, go to our library, click on videos, and you'll find it in there. If it's not there, someone let me know. I think I transferred them all over from my original YouTube channel, which was just the pre-recordeds before I started live streaming. And I think it's there. If I didn't transfer it over, I'll check. I'll actually check. I'll make sure it gets transferred over from my other YouTube channel that I don't use anymore. But she did a wonderful job explaining postpartum depression and what she went through. And she was very open and transparent and vulnerable. And we need more education for people to understand what a horrific situation, the depression that's involved with this hormonal issue that happens with women. Now, MCAT wrote, her fiance is a jerk. Tell us like it is, MCAT. Tell us like it is. I think he's a jerk too. I mean, that he didn't take enough care and concern, and he's a freaking firefighter. And you don't have enough care and concern to make sure that she had her mother there, or a sister, or a best friend, or somebody that loves her, another woman that can understand what she's going through with this postpartum depression. And you didn't make sure that happened, that you didn't have fire rescue on board in case things went south. I mean, guys, you really effed that up. I mean, you effed it up big time. And she ended up, doing something that she probably regrets and wish she hadn't done. And then she got shot to boot. So she could have died. I mean, it's kind of a miracle that she's alive, to be honest with you. The injuries that you described to us, Julie, when you looked into this case, I'm amazed that she's alive. And I just hope she continues to get care, and that they understand that what happened to her is a condition. It's an actual condition that happens to women. Was not in control of it. And that they don't take away her child, because that would be just utterly insane to me. And yeah, this fiance, before he ever has children again with anybody else, whether he gets back together with her or he goes on and marries someone else, you better educate yourself, dude, on what women go through and what it's like to have a baby and be pregnant for 9 months and give birth.
Well, I mean, so far, from how I understand it, she has no contact with her child. He had 4 months old, and she was feeding him at the time that they knocked on the door and served her and did all the stuff. Is that they took the child, I believe, is with the father, and again, from what Bradel said, she's to not have contact, and so they're trying to figure things out. But
they need to get her some. Yeah, they need to get her some contact with her child, because that's going to make her worse. Not being able to see her child's going to make her worse. So it can be completely supervised visits only until they know that she's well, for the sake of the child. Because as we've seen, guys, in the last 2 months, there has been a couple horrific unalivings of children, and the husbands and or the children involved in custody. There was, there's that Travis Decker who they've never found him. He's been missing now since he unalived his 3 daughters in a campground. He asphyxiated them, and the mother wasn't there. But it was interesting because typically when these guys that are involved in domestic violence disputes and domestic violence with their wives and they're going through divorce, they typically try to unalive the wife and the kids and themselves. And he and his really like diabolical evilness chooses to take the kids out, but keeps himself alive and goes on the run. And just so she suffers. Like his ultimate goal in what he did to those 3 beautiful girls was to put impact of major suffering on her. He didn't want to unalive her. He wanted to take what he knew mattered most to her, which were those 3 daughters. And that was just some sick level sociopathic nonsense. And I don't know what the hell the judge was thinking of. They really, I hope they've taken accountability for these 3 beautiful girls' lives being lost and the mother now having to live with trauma for the rest of her life because of what they did, because they didn't do the right thing in the courts in this divorce custody situation. And then you have a woman who unalived her children and her husband and then herself, but she spared one of the children. That's the story we've been talking about in New Hampshire, Julie. And she had signs for weeks that she was depressed, severely depressed. Her husband had been diagnosed with some kind of rare brain cancer. So the family was in trauma. They had 3 young children. They both had really responsible, tough jobs. It sounds like she may have quit her job to care for him. I don't know the whole story, but there were signs. Right, but there were signs that she was heavily depressed and that something was wrong, and nobody called it out, and then she ends up unaliving him and the 2 older children and herself, and leaves the youngest one. I mean, just so horrific. And most of these terrible domestic violence homicides, and 85% of them are man on woman, but here's this rare case where it was woman on man, are preventable. They're preventable. If they can be caught in time, they're preventable, that the people can get counseling, they can get therapy. Even if they end up divorcing, they can get therapy to prevent this type of rage and this type of homicides. I mean, it's heartbreaking. And, we've been following the cases, Julie, of Ellen Greenberg and Suzanne Morphew. Speaking of Suzanne Morphew, Barry Morphew was in court this week, and it was a busy week for both Ellen Greenberg. Parents were in court, and Barry Morphew was in court asking for bail and a bail reduction. And they ended up not giving him bail, but they ended up saying, okay, well, we understand that you were a good boy the first time we arrested you, and you didn't leave the city. I mean, you didn't leave the country. You didn't flee. You came to every court hearing. This is what his lawyer was begging the judge. Barry was a perfect citizen when he was out on bail the first time, and then they dropped the charges against him, and he went on to live his life. Now you're charging him again, and you've arrested him, and you're going to want to make him pay $3 million bail, and that's not fair. Poor Barry. Well, the judge bought into some of that, and she didn't grant him bail, but she did grant him that he could get a certificate of bond, and all he needs is $300,000, guys. And do you honestly think that Barry Morphew this time around is going to be a model citizen? Knowing that they know so much more now. They did not have Suzanne's body, her remains, the first time they arrested him. They really had just circumstantial evidence, but they had enough circumstantial evidence to arrest him, but they decided not to take it to trial. Now, Suzanne Morphew's body was found 1.5 years ago, and her remains came back with BAM in her system, which is a tranquilizer used for shooting animals. Barry Morphew uses a gun, a tranquilizer gun. There was one in their home. He shoots animals and takes their antlers. He's been doing this for years. He did it in Indiana, where they moved to Colorado from. Now the evidence against him is building, and it was mounting, so they were able to arrest him again. I think it's a really bad idea for Barry Morphew to get out on a bond certificate. What do you think, Julie?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that. I thought I saw that the judge didn't remove it, but I don't know if it was what you were talking about, but they basically said
she didn't let him give him bail, but she said if he can get a bail bondsman to give him a certificate, which he only needs $300,000 for, that he will get out.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's what it was. That not yet, that like he had a chance to, I think it was that she didn't reduce the bail. She just said like, all right, well, if you can, we'll give it to you.
Yeah, if you can find a bail bondsman,
yeah.
and he only needs 300,000 to get a bail bondsman, he'll be out. He could be out next week. I'm very upset by it. I'm very upset by it. I think it's a terrible decision. There's so much evidence now that he should have had to have just stayed right in jail until his trial. So his daughters are remarkably still standing beside him. They were there in the jail sitting behind him. I mean, they're in the courtroom sitting behind him. I watched the whole thing. I'm still stunned that with all this new evidence that they have, and members of his own family, his own family members, not his mother, but I believe cousins have come out and said, we didn't want to believe this, but now with all this new evidence, we can't help but believe that Barry did this to Suzanne. So we'll keep you informed. Justice for Suzanne Morphew, and as well as justice for Ellen Greenberg. The family go back to court in October to try to finally get some justice, get this case reopened. It was never opened. It was always basically they never did a damn thing. Philadelphia. I think it's going to be, if it ever comes out, it's going to be ugly, Julie. There are high-level officials and Philadelphia police allegedly, in my opinion, involved in the cover-up of Ellen Greenberg's homicide.
Yeah, that one doesn't, just the fact that, like you guys listen to the 911 call, and just the fact that he goes like, oh my God, I broke into the house. Oh, but don't worry about it. When you come in here, the only person that broke in was me. And I definitely know that. And, oh my God, this happened. That's what it sounded like to me, where like, oh my God, she stabbed herself. Like, that's the first thing you say? She stabbed herself?
Yeah. Ed and my former dispatcher, Steve, and I went over the 911 call for Ellen Greenberg. So if you guys are interested in that, check that out. It's in our library from two Wednesdays ago. This last Wednesday, we went over the Idaho 4 911 and kind of compared and contrasted the difference between Sam. And Steve will be back. He's going to come back, and we're going to look at more 911 calls. It's very fascinating to hear how his take, on these calls as a former dispatcher for many years. So it's just kind of a nice new element. Once a month, we can have Steve back and go over 911 calls with him and get that, really expert opinion from a dispatcher. I don't believe dispatchers get enough credit and are honored enough in our country. So let's see, what else did we have on the rail tonight? Let me remove that first of all. Hang on a second here. So this is so it was interesting. So Billy Bush had Karen's father on this week. Did you watch that, Julie?
Yes, I did.
Do you happen to have that pulled up for us that we can take a peek at that?
I can get it. Yeah, hang on.
Can you get it? Thanks. I forgot to pull it up.
Do you want the Karen Reed one, or do you want the turtle one?
Let's do both. I'd like to take a look at both.
Both, okay.
Because I like Billy. We don't have the same politics.
Which one do you want to do first?
Oh, let's do Turtle first. Aiden.
Turtle? Okay.
Yeah, let's do Aiden first. So Aiden and Jimmy are getting ready to have their, I'm curious if any of you are going to that. Julie, did you give any thought to going to that?
God, no.
Well, I think it would be highly entertaining.
No comment.
If I had the travel expenses saved up right now, I would have come up there and taken you. I would have surprised you with the ticket, and you and I would have gone, because I think it would be highly entertaining, because they're both entertaining individuals.
Highly entertaining. Oh, you mean where Turtle does a rap and Jimmy interviews them, and then I guess they're going to do a roast?
I think it would be entertaining.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
It would be interesting to see what exactly they're going to do, that they're taking their live streaming into a theater situation. I find it to be very interesting. So I don't know, Julie. I think you and I need to rent the Wilbur next year, and see if we can get some of our subscribers to meet us, and we'll have a little party, a little social change warriors party at the Wilbur, and we'll take
How about the beach? We'll go to Revere Beach or Lynn Shore Drive, or
let me say,
somewhere.
I want to say, in all fairness to Jimmy, to Auntie Deb, the Auntie Deb is hysterical, and
I give it to Jimmy. Yeah,
when Jimmy, I was conversing with Jimmy early on during trial one, and I used to send him emails, and we chit-chatted a little bit here and there. I think he is like Second City, like worthy, and with some tutelage and some good people surrounding him, he could be Saturday Night Live worthy. I mean, he is just so funny, and he's so good at just coming up with the stuff just like that. And his parody, you've got to admit, I don't know many people that can pretend to be someone else at such a high level that he does. I would pay money. I always told Jimmy this. I would pay money to see Jimmy. But Turtle is supposed to be an investigative journalist. So if you're trying to be an investigative journalist, then what are you doing on a stage in the Wilbur? I don't get it. Like, I'm just not getting the point of it. Like, why is it happening? I don't get
He's
it.
a satirist, remember? He's an investigative
right.
journalist, activist, satirist.
It's true. And that's okay. Because if he wants
YouTube
to do
presentator.
I was actually glad when he came out and and admitted that he wanted to be all three, because before he was just sticking with the investigative award-winning journalist. And I'm like, no, you're not just that, because investigative journalists don't branch off into advocacy. They don't branch off into what's the word, Julie? Satirist. They don't branch off into that. So that's not what investigative journalists do. They stick to one lane, and that's their lane. So if he wants to be these other things and be a three and all, because I'm a three and all. I mean, I'm a former journalist, I'm a former cop, and I'm a former social worker. I use all three of my skills every week when we live stream. And when I'm doing my research during the week, I use all three of those skills. So I have nothing against Aiden for doing that, for being all three. And when he admitted it, that he was finally admitted that he was all three, okay, cool. I'm all for it. You and I differ on our opinions on him, Julie, which is cool and fine. I know people that don't like him at all. 100% don't like him. I know people that like him 50-50 that want to hear what he has to say because he spent so much time on the Karen Reed case, and then there's people that are all in 100% in on him. So that's how it is in the world of live streaming. That's how it is in the world of entertainment, sports, music, movies, stage performances. You know, you're 100% in, you're 100% out, or you're 50-50. That's how the world works when it comes to putting yourself out there and being in front of a crowd, whether it's live streaming or in person, or via you're a movie star or you're a famous member of a band. Not everybody's cut out for everybody. Not everybody's going to like everybody. All right.
Yep.
Let me pull this down here. Hang on a second. Where did I do this? Come on, Zeus. You're good. Okay. So you got it over here. Yep. I thought it'd be interesting.
Yeah, we'll watch this for a little bit, and then we'll talk about what's going on in the community, and I mean, even the thumbnail for this, where it's like, oh, flipping on camera or turning on camera read or whatever he said. But all right, let's play this for a little bit.
The community through outrage, persistence. We've got this civil trial that's coming for Karen, filed by the OKeefe family. The first hearing is September 22nd. Are you preparing to rally the community again?
I mean, I'll attend it. I'll watch it. I don't know if we'll be doing much rallying this time around, because, I mean, a person's life is no longer on the line. And that was the case last time. They were trying to lock a person up. I mean, this is a civil trial. So it's definitely less like, I mean, I'm interested in it because it's the same content. We're reliving the same stuff. So I'm sure, put it this way, the people the boots on the ground, as we call them, that were down there for the criminal trial, I'm sure they'll be down there for the civil trial, because, I mean, these people,
they're in withdrawal.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, this was like their side job almost for like a couple of years. And without it, I mean, they come to my court dates and I appreciate that, but they're anxious to get out there and make their voices heard some more.
It's amazing to me that, they use the term at least $50,000 is what all of this for 50 grand. I mean, legal bills are going to soar past that. Like it doesn't seem like the O'Keefe family's asking for enough if they're going to waste all the time.
So in order to have move your case from district to superior court, I'm pretty sure you have to say that the bar, like the lowest level, you're looking for
they want a lot more,
$50,000. Like, so if you were suing someone for 10 grand, it would be in district court. So if you want it in superior court, you have to state that it's going to be at least 50 grand, but I'm sure they'll be looking for more than that.
Okay. I get it. So you want to keep it out of petty crimes, but they're going, what they're going after is sort of, it's interesting. I mean, the emotional distress, which of course, Karen moved to dismiss, because she's saying the emotional distress has nothing to do with me. There was no collision. What do you? This was defeated twice in criminal court. I expected this to be thrown out or forgotten about. Doesn't it all seem like a waste?
I mean, it does, but you don't forget that the bar for civil court is significantly lower than the bar for criminal court. I mean, OJ was acquitted in his criminal trial, of course, convicted in his civil trial. So, and he's not the only person.
But there was outrage over OJ getting away with it, so they knew the civil trial was going to come down. There's no outrage with Karen, quote unquote, getting away with it. The whole community was behind her. I feel like the O'Keefes are just teeing themselves up to be despised.
Yeah, I mean, they're teeing themselves up for disappointment. That's for darn sure. I think they're getting bad advice. I think that they just want something. They want a pound of flesh from her. They don't like her. It's very obvious. There's a personality conflict between them, and they just, they think that they did start this lawsuit before the criminal case was over, so they didn't even know that they were going to lose that yet before they signed this. So I think that they picture, just in case she was acquitted, that she might make a lot of money off of this, and they wanted a piece of that pie. And you're right, I don't think it's going to go over well. I don't think a lot of people felt bad for them when they were looking for justice for their son, but now you're just looking for a payday, and I don't think that's going to go over as well.
Yeah, they filed the civil prematurely before the acquittal, before the verdict for Karen, so now at least they know they have a mountain to climb.
Julie, can you pause that a sec?
No.
Yep.
Yeah, so I actually agree with everything they're saying here. I don't personally understand why someone hasn't talked them out of this civil suit, because just because you're sad and unhappy that your person doesn't have justice yet, and you still think the person did it, even though 2 trials were say no, she didn't, and you're just being stubborn, to go after money seems really shallow to me. And especially, it's out there in public rumors, allegedly, right? How much money they already did receive via John's will and probably life insurance. What the heck, right? I mean, why do this, Julie?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of issues, and I mean, if you look at the lawsuit, a part of it, and again, they're looking at this from like, okay, it's a grand scheme of Karen was there, the bars were there, this happens, and it's culmination of she was there, he was there, she drove, whatever the case may be. But right. There's the other factor that I think it's going to be a really, really, really high hurdle to clear, is that there's the emotional issue component of this that came in that morning, and their accusation is that Karen came in and exhibited behavior that would have caused undue stress on a child, his niece, who was there. And then all the stuff that, again, is alleged at this point, but stuff's going to come out. It seems like it's already coming out. Cosgrove has made motions with her phone and some other stuff that's going on in the background, that it seems like there might be another component to this. And it's not going to make a lot of people happy, but if the speculation and the rumors are true, that there was a campaign to drum up support and to poo-poo all the witnesses and the family, and to kind of silence them and say, hey, you sit down and shut up, and you take this, that's going to factor into this case, and that might be where it gets sticky. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, Alan Jackson he's not stupid. He's going to hedge his bets, and he's going to try to make sure that, like, nope, this is going to be free and clear. She is, factually innocent and all that stuff. So that's going to come into it. But as far as like the collision part, no. What the Commonwealth came up with, and depending on what happens with the experts in the civil trial, if they come up with a different variation, I mean, they might, depending on who testifies and what they say, they might come up with a better version of what may have happened than what the Commonwealth came up with, which is crap, with that stupid, he clipped him like this and he spun a pirouette and everything went perpendicular to the direction of the force. Like, who believes that? What planet are you on where that would actually work in a case like that? But in any case, I think it's going to be a high hurdle to clear. And with some of the stuff, and now the fallout and and the pivot and the redirection of no, I didn't do that. Karen Reed was the one who did all this. Oh, Karen Reed gave me everything. Like, it's gonna turn into a shit show.
Let's hear what Elsie. Let's hear what Elsie has to say, and then we'll come back. We'll circle around back to what you were just talking about.
Oh, what happened?
Armstrong, you name it. When you get in too far, it's really hard to kind of about face. So I'm sure they're stressing it a little bit. What is your relationship like with Karen? I know you guys have each other's numbers and stuff. Do you talk to Karen? Have you spoken with her? Do you guys,
Little Red Riding Hood. Let's start the story a different way. It was dark inside the wolf.
Catch up.
I mean, we're not friends or anything like that. She was the subject of my reporting. We both have strong personalities. Moving forward, maybe we'll work together. Maybe we won't. I've always been of the belief that we're stronger together, just marketing wise. Like that's what the people want. The people want Turtle Boy and Karen Reed. But ultimately the ball's in her court. I'm doing a documentary with Compelling Pictures, and they also have my movie rights, and we are in negotiations with her. If she chooses to join us, great. If not, no hard feelings, and we'll push forward anyway.
So she'll want to, but if she does join you, likely she'll want to do it after she writes her book or puts out her project.
Like it's unrelated. So the documentary is going to be done within 4 to 6 months, and so we've already done a lot of the filming for it. They were down there for the trial. They've interviewed me several times. Other people involved that we have agreements with, and so we are competing with a documentary done by a British company named Sandpaper, who has a deal with Netflix. But I have refused to do an interview with them, as has anyone on the Reed team. So they basically have a McAlbert documentary. Like they've got all the McAlberts, the O'Keefes, yeah. And they invested in a conviction. So this is like, it's not going to be the ending that it wasn't the ending that they hoped for.
They're still doing it, though. They're still doing it. So now it's going to be a woe is me. Oh my God, we were a miscarriage of justice the other way. Oh,
right.
Wow.
And Turtle Boy's the bad guy. So it's basically a competing doc, and we're doing our own doc where Turtle Boy is the protagonist and Karen Reed is the person that is acquitted, rightfully so, and has been wrongfully charged as a victim in this. And so we are basically competing against them. And if the documentary had both Karen and I in it, certainly it would just bury that one. I mean, Netflix might cancel their deal with them, if that happens. But if we don't get Karen, that's okay too, because we're going to push forward, and the story needs to be told either way.
Yeah, look, I mean, you and Karen, I mean, it's like you're forever connected, right? I mean, her cause was championed by you. In turn, it magnified your voice, right? Elevated your profile considerably. Is it okay that she has not come on the TV Daily, your show?
I don't care. It's like, did it bother me at first? Yeah, sure, a little bit, but at the end of the day, I just have enough self-respect for myself to say that if you don't want to come on my show, then I ain't begging you. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want, I have enough respect for myself to not, I don't grovel. I don't beg people to come on. If you want to come on my show, like Alan Jackson did, come on down. If you don't want to, that's okay too. But I don't beg people to come on my show.
I mean, she did an interview last week on the radio with Howie Carr. It was very short, though. It was like maybe she appeared for 7 minutes. I would imagine this is because she's trying to protect her voice and write her book. And the woman lost her house. I mean, she hasn't worked in 4 years, so she's got to make some money.
And she would have lost her house a lot sooner were it not for the $1.1 million that we raised for her legal defense fund.
You're pissed.
I mean, I'm not pissed. I'm just stating a fact. So it is what it is. And her whole thing, which I totally respected, was that you got to maximize the first interview. Like the first interview matters, right? Like you can make a lot of money off that. Totally get it. I can't compete with People Magazine.
So a couple things. He's not wrong about a lot of this, I have to say. I mean, even if you don't like his style, you don't like how he speaks and his swearing and his nastiness. Come here, Tanner, get down. He's not wrong about that. I don't. There's no way we're ever going to know if the Karen Reed movement, if you want to, they call themselves that. We're never going to know if it would have been as big. I don't personally think it could have been as big without about all the people that decided to join his turtle group and turn him into a live streamer with a reputation and give him a platform on Tuesdays and Saturdays. I don't think that as many people would have followed her case in the beginning. Maybe eventually, because of the turn that it took with them claiming that she was framed, that would have spurred interest for true crime. But he's not wrong about how he was able to just be out there on those courtroom steps with the microphone, with that megaphone in the beginning, and all of the work he did in the beginning, calling out the corruption. And he's a local, he lives there, just like Young Jerks lives there, and LTL Media, they live there. So they were able to all grow huge platforms because of this trial, because it was happening in their state. It's the same as what it could have been like that in Tallahassee. There could have been had live streaming been more famous, more popular. It wasn't even a thing yet when Dan Markel was killed, but there was a group of people that incorporated. They're called Justice for Dan Markel, and had social media been where it is now, I think they might have been able to put something together with protests and to be equal. Here's this, to be equal to what Turtle Boy and the Karen, all of those on the ground in Canton were able to do.
Sure. I mean, depends on what it is you're looking for. I mean, if you've listened to, and again, I came to this case to just to give my background again, I came to this case by again being local, being from Boston, and hearing that there was a police officer who was found in a snowbank. That's how it was reported. Boston police officer found in a snowbank in Canton, and they believed that it was his girlfriend, because his girlfriend saw him, dropped him off. She had to go poop or whatever happened, and left him there. Then came there the next morning and said, "Oh my God, this happened." It was like, "Oh, okay, well that's gonna happen. They're gonna throw the book at her, and because it's a police officer, they're gonna come for her." And then nothing happened, and then she got upcharged, and was like, "What the hell's going on?" So I came to this from, again, it was local. I saw it. It's from where I was from. He's a Boston police officer, and I watched pre-trial, and I came to a completely different conclusion about what was going on, because I watched pre-trial and watched kind of like what we're watching with like the Roe and Co stuff, watching with like the fuckery that's going on there with like okay, you asked for this, where is it? Well, I sent an email. Okay, that was 4 years ago. Well, I sent another email. Okay, well, what about this? Okay, well, what about that? What about this? What about that? And it was like they wouldn't give and they wouldn't do, and that was the story. And then come to after the first trial, like right as the jury's deliberating the first trial, I watched. That's when I found like the social media aspect. I saw Sean for the first time. Sean, Dylan, he had the day on with Nurse Kim, the Glazer. Melanie stopped by, and he went on with Howie, and he swore on air. It was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but he was saying like completely different story. Like they went in the basement, they beat the shit out of him, blah blah blah. It was like, oh, so they must know more information, because I didn't get any of that from pre-trial and from like the actual trial. Like I didn't know like okay, everybody's talking about drinks and who's going to who's inside the house, who's not inside the house, like what the hell's going on. So I looked at social media and was like, okay, like let's see what's going on here with YouTubers. It was like, okay, I didn't get any of that. Like I looked and was like, okay, it seems like there was some kind of like love triangle, something going on, and then saw what was going on. It was like, okay, do they know more information? And it just seems like the more I uncovered, it's like, wait a minute. To me, this is me. These are my views. To me, it seemed like they spun a narrative to look in this direction and not look anywhere over here. And trial 2, more came out. And now that it seems like it's Splitsville for the two of them, it seems like they are, I don't know, it seems like there's a pivot where it seems like Turtle is starting to spin like, oh, it's not the McCalibur, let's look at Higgy. Well, I never got the story from Higgy, because I was told that Higgy wasn't an issue. I never looked at it. No, by the way, Karen Reed was the one that gave it to. I owe her a thank you, because it was Karen Reed who did this. No, by the way, I was the one that did the fundraising, but it was Karen Reed. So I know like everybody like, okay, all the Turtle Riders like okay, it's a free country, you support him, God bless, do your thing. But if you're looking at this and saying, well, we support Turtle, we support Karen, and now there seems to be like a visible split of things, then I see a lot of people are like, well, Karen's a bitch because of this. Well, she's not a nice person. She deserves Aiden, this and that. And like, one thing I want you to ask yourself is that if you look and say, well, I don't think Karen's a nice person, maybe she did do it. Well, are you just doing that because of how things look for Turtle? Or are we looking at for how things look for Karen? Or are we actually looking for justice for John O'Keefe? Because at the end of the day, again, me personally, I don't like either of them. I'm here for justice for John O'Keefe. That's why I stood in my driveway with the leaf blower in the cold and the buckets and
exactly
doing that in the cold for John O'Keefe, because he's no longer here. He, again, he was Boston police officer, and I believe, in my opinion, Boston did him dirty by saying like, yeah, we got this guy. I don't think they did an investigation. I think they blew away the crime scene based on my opinion from the science test that I did in my driveway with the leaf blower in the snow. Again, that's just from how I see things, and that's very upsetting for me. And
yeah,
just to see that upsets me. But at the end of the day, that's who it's for. So you could turn and say, oh, well, this and that, but like, just look at this and say, who are we actually fighting for? Are we looking for justice for Karen? Are we looking for justice against the system? Like the broken system, like the stuff that Roe and Co and Lally and the stuff that, because that was, to me, that was the original story. So just look at how things are going, because all this bullshit with Karen said this, Turtle said this, blah, 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 blah. Like, let's focus on what we're doing here, because I'm telling you, this is going to get way worse, in my opinion, from I could read tea leaves. This is going to get way worse. So, and
well, that was great.
That Cosgrove that Cosgrove is making motions, and she doesn't have her phone because supposedly they're doing grand juries for witness intimidation.
Wait, stop before you.
Okay, sorry. I'm going.
No, just time out before you go down that road. I just want to quickly make a comment, because what you just said was great, and everything you said was accurate and really well said.
John O'Keefe gets forgotten in all this, and I don't want that to happen.
Right. Nobody would ever want that to happen, because if you follow true crime, you want the perpetrator, the correct perpetrator, arrested. You want the person to be vindicated. You want some kind of vindication for the family. Yep. Not that you're ever going to get that because your loved one is gone. But I think that this was such an interesting phenomenon, what happened with the Karen Read trials, both of them, and all of the support in Massachusetts and then around the country and around the world. Not as big as O.J. Simpson trial. I still think you could walk out on the street and say, hey, do you know who John O'Keefe or Karen Read is in your neighborhood? And people are going to say, no, I have no clue what you're talking about, because it didn't ever hit that level. Now, but if you're in Massachusetts, it became huge, and some surrounding states. And if you're in the true crime world, if that's your thing, then yes, everybody in the true crime world, because of Court TV and because of Turtle Boy Aiden, knew what was going on in Massachusetts. And that we have to remember again, it's true crime. Somebody died. That's why it's even there. But it is a form of entertainment, people. Court TV exists to entertain you to a certain degree. Aiden exists to entertain the people that subscribe to his channel, that pay to be members of his channel. There has to be a level of entertainment when you do anything live, whether it's Entertainment Tonight, Nancy Grace, Dateline NBC, ABC, what's their show called? I mean, no matter what it is, if you're watching it and you're consuming it, you're asking to be entertained to a certain degree. You're asking for information, you're asking to be educated, and you're asking to be entertained. That's why you go to the theater. That's why you go to a ballpark. That's why you read a book. It's why you do anything other than your job or your chores in your house or caring for your children or your pets and yourself, to be entertained. So we always have to keep that in mind, that we can't be hypercritical of those that we're asking to entertain us, because they're all going to do it in their own way. Vinny Politan might not be your cup of tea, so don't watch him. Aiden might not be your cup of tea, don't watch him. You know, we're just a small, tiny little grassroots channel. You may or may
don't
not.
Watch us. No.
You know, you may have never even found us, but if you do, and you're like, well, why do I want to listen to Julie, the craziest person ever, and this 62-year-old boomer from Wisconsin, right? You may not like us. That's okay. You don't have to like us. We're not here for you to like us. We're here because we want to, we like to live stream, we have found, and we like to follow true crime, and we like to stand for victims of homicide and their families. We like to be vocal, and we do it in our own way. So I don't have anything against Aiden, because he does the entertainment component in his own way. It's not my cup of tea always, but I still listen to him. I just tone it out if his chat gets nasty or if he gets kind of off the chain, in my opinion, and goes rogue when he's mad at somebody. But when he speaks about the actual facts of the matter, about the facts of the case or the facts of what he's talking about, he can be very interesting to listen to. And I'd like to hope people think that of you and I on Friday Night Lives and on my other nights that I live stream. But that's really, there's just a big learning curve in being in the media, whether you're live streaming as a volunteer like I am, or you're getting paid to do it like Young Jerks and LTL Media and Aiden, all in Massachusetts, and the Glare in, out of Tennessee, wherever he lives now. Regardless of where you came from and why, what led you to want to live stream, you're doing it because you have a reason and you want to do it, and you've got subscribers because they enjoy your shtick. They enjoy the way you present these facts of these cases and the way that you delve into the bare bones of these terrible, horrific homicides, because they're interested in true crime. And there's so many choices, Julie. I never realized before I started live streaming how many people are live streaming in the true crime genre. I'm still literally shocked. I keep finding new people every day.
Yeah, there's a ton of people out there, and I mean, you're gonna get different looks and stuff. Like there was one night, just out of the clear blue, I got sucked into the medium lady who was talking to the box, who was I think she was making a soup or something, and all of a sudden the box started talking, and it's like, okay, and like then the chat was going, and I was like, why am I watching this? I don't believe any of this, but it's interesting to see what came out of it.
Not everybody's your cup of tea, but I give them all credit for wanting to be part of the true crime live streaming world now that exists. Shauna made a comment about, come here, Zeus. Shauna made a comment about what I was saying about Tallahassee. She said Tallahassee didn't need it. Come here, Zeus. Come here. Tallahassee didn't need it. They weren't corrupt in that case. Just took time to get evidence against the Adelsons, the ones that actually Kil, yes, unalive Dan Markle Dan Markel were arrested quick. Yeah, they were. Come here, Zeusy. Just when I think I got him quieted down for the night, he's still crying for his papa. Come here, Zeus. Everybody loves you. Everybody loves the Zeus. Yes, we do. Doberman, we do. I agree with you, Shauna, in that respect. There wasn't crime and corruption involved. There was just a horrific.
Will he come on the say hello?
Hi.
Puppies?
Come here, Zeusy.
Which puppies?
Come here, Zeusy. Want to say hi?
Will puppies come on?
He will if I get. He's been up here the whole time. His head's like right here at my desk level. You just can't see him. But yeah, I get it, Shauna. You know, there wasn't that what really got the Karen Reed going. I don't think Turtle would have covered it. I don't know that Turtle would have even been interested in or covered it if there hadn't been a frame job involved. That's very possible, right? And he might not have. If it was just your average everyday unaliving, sadly to say, there's just so many in this country all the time. He might not have covered it, but the minute the frame job entered the picture, I think for a live streamer and someone that was involved in calling out nonsense in his community for years prior to that, that really, tripped his trigger, which I understand. And you didn't have that component, but you still had justice, in Tallahassee. There was still people crying out for justice for a very popular, well-known professor at the University of Florida State. So thanks, Shauna. Great comment. And then Shauna says, wasn't an attorney for KR just on how we are about a new grand jury. So so I wanted to get to Shauna's comment, and I wanted to say something about what you were saying before you went on to the next subject, because my brain, get down off of there, puppy. My brain would have forgotten what I wanted to say about it. But that's I just wanted to comment about what you were commenting about. And now this is where you were branching off into that. So go ahead now with what Shauna is asking us about.
Yeah. So this past week on Howie Carr, Karen's new attorney, because she hired a new attorney. His name is, I believe it's Steve Bozang. He is there's the puppies.
Let me get him up.
Oh, poor Doberman. Look at the puppies. You mind too? Look at, look at, he's so concerned. Look at him.
See, Doberman, it's all okay.
He really does look like a bird dog. He looks more like a Weimaraner than anything.
He looks like a Weinreimer more than he does a Doberman, because he's a blue Doberman.
Yeah. Look at his nose. Look at his nose.
There's the big puppy. There's Snoopy. My friend calls Tanner Snoopy because his big nose. There's the Tanner man. We have our little Tanner man. He's a little Tanner man. He gets a big kick out of that, don't you? He likes his little song. Yep. He got his little bath and his little haircut.
There's a Doberman. I see him. Yeah, he's just standing looking at you in the mirror. I see.
He's been there the whole time. He's just
staring at you. Like,
when I get him quiet. Now, when Tanner was a baby puppy, when we were live streaming in February, he used to sleep right behind me the whole live show. It's okay, Doberman. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Want me to get you a bone to chew on? So yeah, go ahead and let's chat a bit about this. Like, there's some type of speak of another grand jury, and what
do you want to listen? Do you want to listen to that one? I can pull that clip up too. Let's see. Hang on 1 second. You have to give me a second.
Baby puppy I forgot I had a tortilla chip in a little bowl here from earlier when I was having a snack when I was prepping for tonight. He just grabbed it out of the bowl. I didn't even realize it was still over there. So he just got something.
Oh boy, is it this one?
Something on Vinci puppy.
Let's see.
Oh, here, before we put that up, I'm just going to play this intro. Quiet, Doberman. I'm just going to play this intro.
Here we are. Did they start yet?
Yes, it's 0-0. There's 12 minutes left in the first quarter.
Wait, could we not see that on? I mean, I thought. were we watching the game or were we
No,
watching?
that was just the preview I put up.
Okay, got it. Okay,
I
gotcha.
just put up the preview while you were looking for the clip.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I wanted to see what they had to say because obviously we've been live streaming since 6, so I missed the preview tonight. So I wanted to see. I switched out of my Green Bay Packer hat for my Kansas City Chiefs hat a little while ago because I'm a Chiefs fan too. Go lay down, Zeus. You want something to eat? All right. I've got you up on the stage, Julie. You're all set.
Okay. Yep. So this is Howie Carr. So Howie Carr seems to get all the hot stuff. This is with Karen Reed's new local attorney, Steve Bozang. This guy is local. He's from Massachusetts, so he works in Massachusetts. He does state cases and he does federal cases. So if something happens at Uncle Joe's house, he can do stuff at Uncle Joe's house. That's the federal courthouse, and he does stuff in Norfolk County, which he applied for. He sent letters to Adam Lally, and which I didn't know, but Judge Bev still signs off on it because she signed off on the motion that he made to get her car and 3 cell phones back. And he's going to talk about the car and the 3 cell phones in this interview that he had with Howie. So,
and acquitted. The jury twice agreed that your car did not kill John O'Keefe, but the state has kept the car. And she said, no, they haven't given me back the car. I think they were supposed to give back the car, but they just didn't. And so then we had on Bill Broussard, and
they're talking about getting car detailed,
and we just want to find out what's going on here right now. 844. So, Jared, did you get the number?
Yeah, he had a hard time calling them.
All the members of the Ukrainian army required to be
Broke, or whether or not they just had a bunch of taillight pieces. 844-500. It was saying, the New York Times put out a story over recently that about the documents that Tulsi Gabbard has been putting out.
Okay, we don't need that. I thought he popped in earlier.
Maybe recuperating from the trial, but after not hearing for a few weeks, I filed a motion and asked the court to order that the vehicle be returned to Karen.
Okay, so that's him. So that's Steve Bozang. He's her new attorney. So David is. I don't know if he's on the case, but he is not handling this. This new attorney, Steve Bozang, is taking it. So I'm still Team Unetti.
And then once that was.
So that's him who's talking. Hang on 1 second. So that's him who's speaking right now, and he's talking about making a motion to get the car and the 3 cell phones.
Filed. I think everybody came back from vacation and paid attention to it, and then Adam Lally, to his credit, filed a motion to agree to have the vehicle turned over to her. Now it's just a matter of putting Bill Broussard, who's terrific. I spoke to him this morning. That will help pick up the car and transport it and try to get it back together for Karen.
Where is the car?
The state police custody.
Is it Framingham or in one of the other barracks?
I think it's off-site, but it may go to maybe the Foxborough barracks, is my understanding. But Bill Broussard was, very kind to help facilitate that. It's just a matter of working out the logistics to have the vehicle picked up.
So what? We're talking to Steve Bozang, one of Karen Reed's new local attorneys in the post-trial aftermath. What is it? Do you know what the condition of the car is after all this time?
I can't imagine it's in great condition. Having sat there for quite some time. But I think it could be put back together, and we're hopeful that it will be.
And he was saying last week when we had him on the air, he was saying that even as a used vehicle, I mean it's a top of the line model, a no headaches Lexus, and he said it's worth $60,000-$70,000 even in its its current state. So I mean this was a real a real slap in the face to Karen. So you had to actually go to court to file a motion to get the car back.
Well, I think just to get everybody's attention on what needed to be done after trial, just to tie up some loose ends. But I think, once the motion was filed, I got an immediate response to their credit, and was able to, just facilitate getting the vehicle back as it should be to Karen, and we should have that done within a day or two.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. 508 says, do you think Proctor changed all of Karen's set radio stations?
I'm not sure who would have to teach him how to change the preset.
Yeah, they weren't too good at technology. Whether they were trying to run down the kingpin and the rubber ducky caper or anything else, or getting the 32,000 emails text messages between Sandra Birchmore and her lover, who was a police officer, is now charged with murdering her. They don't.
Okay, all right. So I listened to this and I about lost my mind. Her lover, really? That's what you're gonna call whatever his name is, Farwell? Her lover? No.
Don't seem to be too good on the technical stuff. So Karen, they also took 4 of her cell phones. What's the status of those cell phones now, Steve Bozang?
So there are 3 cell phones. And just to back up, Howie, as we know, there's a lot of good state police, and then there are some that,
Yes.
just a few bad apples, as in any business. But you and I have come in contact, and I think the Norfolk County State Police historically have been very good. I'm not sure what happened in this case, specifically with Proctor, but so she had 3 cell phones. One she had initially that got seized, and then of course she had to replace that with, I believe, a work phone and a personal phone, and then that got seized with some sort of grand jury investigation into some conspiracy with Turtle Boy, which went absolutely nowhere, and it turned up a no bill. And I think, Howie, you're one of the guys that started the term from New York, you can indict a ham sandwich. They couldn't get out of the gate with it. So I'm looking to get those 2 phones back, and that's an old Tony Cardinelli line. But we're looking to get those 2 phones back. Robbie Cosgrove, who's a special prosecutor, filed a response to my motion. I'll file a response to his motion, and hopefully with a hearing, and see where we go from that point. But, it's time for Karen to put things in the rearview mirror to move on with her life, which she has. She's an extraordinarily bright and strong woman, but she needs some closure so that she can go on to the next phase of, this nightmare.
So Cosgrove, he's the guy we call triple dip because he's got 2 pensions and now he's a special prosecutor for more DA. Cosgrove triple dip is still trying to hang on to her cell phones.
Yeah, my sense is that they want to go back to the grand jury, but I don't know what new evidence that they have, and I don't care if they go back based on the transcripts I read. They could go back to 10 grand juries. They're not getting an indictment. And the threshold is so low, better than anyone.
Yeah, the ham sandwich. Sandwich, right?
Yeah. So we're hopeful that we can make no mistake about it. Cosgrove was the appellate lawyer for Norfolk County, then a Superior Court judge. He's a bright guy, but I'm not sure he has it right on this one. And we're just going to fight it out in court. We're not going to get in pissing contests with everybody. We can't agree on something. That's what judges are for. And I think Norfolk County has some of the best judges in the Commonwealth of Mass, and we'll get a fair shake and see how it plays out.
Steve Buzang lives in Norfolk County. He practices there.
All right, so that's basically it. Because then they just bullshit about, you got to say that because you're in the town, blah 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 blah. Okay, so that's what happened with Steve Buzang, the new attorney. Now, to give you guys a couple some background on what this is, when they arrested Turtle and did all the stuff, they took his devices. That was in 2020. That was in late 2023. And that's when they brought up the grand jury the first time to try to indict the 2 of them, Karen and Turtle, on witness intimidation. And that was, I don't think they returned a no bill. I think they pulled it because they were going to return a no bill or whatever the case may be. But in late May of this year, 2025, Cosgrove made a motion and Doolin signed that they had access to Turtle's final 2 devices, I believe. Now, that's what Turtle has been saying, that, there's no communication. I did that afterwards. There's nothing there. It's a nothing burger. Well, they're holding on to Karen's devices for a reason. And Cosgrove also, in a letter, I don't know if it was a motion or in a letter, he said that we're doing this, but also there are ongoing investigations into Turtle, which is why we can't let all this stuff go. And he hold on to his devices. Now, Cosgrove made a motion. That's what this guy was talking about, Bozang, saying that he made a motion saying, no, we need these because there's an investigation going and we need to be able to, hold on to them because they're physical evidence. So we need to hold on to them. And that's why he's saying, well, there's nothing there. So I don't know why you need it. So if you want, we could fight it out in court. So that's what he's talking about, saying that we will fight it out in court. If Cosgrove wants to make a motion for that, that's state court. I don't know what's going on federally. Something's going on federally because we have the grand juror. That's.
I have a question, Jules.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So I want to understand something too, is that by now, this has been going on, right, for 3.5 years. Come here, Zeus. I took him outside. I thought maybe he'd stop his little craziness. Come here, Zeus. Why do they still need those phones, Julie? Because they should have already heard everything there is to hear. There should be reports written about what's on those phones, right? Why would they still need to keep those phones? It makes no sense. The phones are just a tool at this point. They've already looked at and taken everything off those phones that pertains to John O'Keefe's death and to the trials, right?
Well, yes. Well, okay. That's the thing. They took it off for John O'Keefe, for the investigation officer, John O'Keefe. Now it appears they're looking at some type of collusion with Turtle and Karen Reed or anybody else, because there were 2 phones that happened after she was arrested and that they got a warrant for. I believe it was either in, I think it was January 2024 when they got the warrant, and that's what I believe. Like they're saying that it was factory reset or whatever it was, but they have those physically. So they have them physically. I don't know if they've had access to them fully or what they have, but now they have more information. They're going to say, hey, listen, you had them, you know, whatever the case may be. That's why he's not saying like, oh, there's nothing there, nothing there. He's saying you won't find anything, but we're going to fight this because that's just what you do. So I don't think this is the end of it.
I understand it. I mean, they've had the phones long enough. I mean, it's like whatever was on those phones should have been off. They should have it now. They knew what they were looking for. They knew what they wanted. There should be timely manner, in my opinion, of when you have to give someone property back, right?
Well, sure, absolutely. But I mean,
and her car, it's utterly egregious that they haven't given her car back yet. They don't need her car anymore. Give the woman back her car. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I can see them giving her car before they give her a phone. I mean, they could have been like, for example, they said that they convened a grand jury in 2024. They could still be investigating this from that point. So, I mean, who knows? So they could have looked at it and said, like, well,
they're just being vile. They're just being vile and spiteful because they hate it that their crime and corruption has been called out for everyone to see. So they're just going to keep on pushing for every little thing they can to try to make life hell for Karen and her family, and for anyone that supported her that believes she's innocent. They're going to try to take
maybe not. But yeah, so while we were live, while I was searching for some of this, Melanie went live, and I think that there are new motions that Judge Doolin, who's handling Turtle's case, that he made a motion to, I don't know what. He made some motion in Turtle's case that Melanie was going over. So I don't know what that is. I don't have my phone's inside, but I don't know what's going on with that. But Shauna put something there. Yeah. That Doolin did something. I don't know what it is though.
Oops, motions power. Oh, okay.
So we're just breaking all sorts of news.
Yeah, seriously. Hang on, we can pop up
Friday night news dump. That's what it is.
Right. Friday night news up. We can go see if Melanie Little is. We could go back to the beginning and fair use her for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, she usually has the documents, and I mean, now that I'm kind of learning how to pull documents with case numbers and everything.
Yeah, I think it's cool that you are teaching yourself how to do that.
Well, I mean, look at what happened the last week with Roe and Co. I mean, because of this fuckery with Howie Carr and Karen and Turtle and all that other crap, we completely missed Roe and Co. And I said, like, oh, it's going to be covered. I'll just, stay here and watch it, and we'll talk about it. And then because of stuff that happened there, we missed Roe and Co. And there was some good information that came out of it. They're going to release Proctor's text messages and I believe they made a motion to get some of the other stuff that the Fed said no, but then they said, okay, we'll work on it. But they said that it's going to be under seal. So anybody that sees anything from Proctor that didn't come out in the trial, don't retweet it. Oh, is she on with Bettero?
Yeah, hang on a second. I'm pulling it up now. Just a sec. I'm going to rewind it so we can do fair use.
Yeah. Yeah, she does an intro at the beginning, so.
Yeah, just hang on. I'm getting to it.
Wilson antidote. It was perfect. The Cardi B trial was fantastic. Her testimony was everything. She's everything to me. Now, I didn't even really know who she was before I watched her testimony in this crazy personal injury trial. And we recapped it today for a couple hours and case. And back on July 7th is when we listened to a hearing on Zoom. There was no video, it was audio only. And we heard them arguing. So what I thought we would do, instead of me telling you the recap, is go back and listen to the hearing again. It's only about 10 minutes long. And that will refresh your recollection about what it is that we are hearing decisions on today from Judge Doolin. So without further ado, I'm going to thank Mike Crawford in advance. I'd rather beg for forgiveness because I didn't have time to ask for permission. But because he streams these hearings without commentary, it's better than me watching my own commentary with you. So give Young Jerks a like.
I always send Mike a direct message on Twitter and ask him if it's okay if we use his video. And he always says yes. He's very sweet about that and very nice about that. So I appreciate Mike as well.
And a follow. And they're doing the Lord's work out there, oftentimes streaming things. I think when Mike is out walking dogs, he's streaming stuff, right? So this takes us back to July 7th. If you recall, that was the same day in front of Judge Doolin that Aiden Carney was arraigned on the 2 new charges of witness intimidation or intimidating the window at D&E Pizza that was caught on camera. And he was with the glarer who was doing the little dinosaur arms behind him, or whatever you call those arms. And the first thing that happened during the Zoom hearing was an arraignment in which Aiden pleaded not guilty to both charges. And then Cosgrove, the real Robert Cosgrove, not the fake one that calls into Will the Glarer's show, argues against Bradel and Betterow, who is on Zoom, about why they should not have to turn these things over. So let's take a listen to refresh your recollection, and I may stop and explain as we go along. This again is July 7th, 2025, in front of Judge Doolin in Norfolk Superior Court, because where else would we be?
All right, what else are we going to do?
Judge, if I may jump in right there, just for the record, we filed 2 arraignment-related motions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Obviously, we can push those to another day with 2 small exceptions of just an order to preserve notes of investigators and to preserve video, if I may, Your Honor. I don't believe there's an objection.
Okay. Yeah, those are both ordered. So the Commonwealth's ordered to preserve notes of investigators and to preserve video.
And we've learned that lesson before, because remember, during the Karen Reed double persecution, the Commonwealth actually had the nerve, the cojones, to argue that, oh, well, they didn't specifically ask us to preserve Sallyport video, so we didn't specifically preserve
I have the video
video
of David saying, don't destroy anything from February 2022.
To now specifically ask for every single thing that they want preserved.
What'd you say, Jules?
Oh, so they're talking about the preservation order, and what Melanie's referring to is when Lally got up and was like, you didn't tell us to save this, we just got rid of it, and was like, actually I did, because they went back and forth, and during the arraignment, and I brought it up to talk about like the BZ thing when they were talking about the videos, because I could have sworn Lally brought it up during the arraignment, but it's in the charging documents that they said that, oh, we have video of this happening. From God knows where, but they said, well, we have video of this happening, and in that same arraignment, David makes a motion to say, hey, save everything, save all your records, save all the video, and save everything else, even though there's not a video of this thing happening, that we believe that this thing didn't happen, save everything. And the judge basically was like, yeah, of course, why would you even make a motion? That's just like common knowledge that we would do it. Well, that was 2022. Fast forward to 2024, the shit show that was, with all the little dribbles and drabs of video. Like, oh yeah, it's inverted. Now we have this one. Now it looks like it's been run through a food processor 16 times, where it's all chewed up and you can barely make out, like, what is that? Is that the surface of Mars, or is that a garage? So
a garage. It's a garage.
It's the garage.
It's a garage. Okay, let me put this back up for a minute here.
Well, all right.
You want me to fast forward this?
Yes, because she's going to go on and talk about the hearing, but I just want to see the documents, because, all right, so basically what happened in the hearing is they said, we want to disqualify we want to disqualify Mello because he needs to shit or get off the pot. Either he's part of this or he's not a part of this, but we want to call him for a witness. And oh, by the way, all the stuff that you gave us, it's impounded, but we need to be able to do this. And we took it's like, well, we want the candy. So we had to say, yep, we'll do it under a protective order, but we want to be able to show it because of what it shows. So I guess Doolin made a ruling on this. So that's what they talked about during that court hearing. And here are the documents.
And Kate Peter, they had like a foursome going on, like a text thread of maybe 4 people, allegedly. Discussion. Carney contends ADA Mello must be disqualified as counsel for the Commonwealth because ADA Mello, in communicating with the witness during the time frame the crimes were allegedly committed, made himself a necessary witness. At trial, a prosecutor, quote, shall not act as advocate at a trial in which the lawyer is likely to be a necessary witness, end quote, citing Commonwealth v. Scanlon. A witness is necessary, quote, where the proposed testimony is material and relevant and is also not cumulative and is unobtainable elsewhere, end quote. In considering whether to disqualify counsel, a judge must closely scrutinize the facts before him or her to determine whether a lawyer's continued participation as counsel taints the legal system. Here, ADA Mello, in receiving communications from a witness while the alleged crimes were being committed, made himself a potential witness in Carney's case. As such, ADA Mello may very well be called as a witness at trial by Carney or the Commonwealth to testify to the content of those communications. And I would say you can count on it. Therefore, because ADA Mello could be called as a witness at trial, he must be disqualified from prosecuting this particular case. Order. For the foregoing reasons, Carney's motion is allowed. It's a win.
Okay.
It's a win. There's one win. XOXO, Michael P. Doolin, Justice of the Supreme Court, dated today, 9/5/25. And what's interesting
So Mello's
here
off the case.
is it says August, but that's scratched off, because I guess Judge Doolin didn't get a chance to sign it in August. Anyway, until the 5th of September. Mello is coming home. Mello is coming home, says none of your business. So that's one win. Moving on to the second order of
What
the
about the other
day.
one?
Docket
The
number
unimpound
100.
pound,
This
as
is
they call
docket
it.
number 100. Thank you. Please, thank you. Thank you, kindergarten cop. Keep the drama outside. I don't care who you are or what it's about. I don't do the drama here.
I don't do
There's
the
plenty of
drama
other
here.
places to do the drama. This ain't one of them. You know why? Because I just have no more F's to give and I just don't care.
It's Melanie After Dark.
Commonwealth versus Aiden Timothy Carney, memorandum of decision and order on defendant's motion to release documents from impoundment. The defendant, Aiden Timothy Carney, has been indicted on several counts of witness intimidation and unlawful picketing to influence a witness, as well as a single count of unlawful wiretapping. And these are the charges for the alleged victims, McCabe's, Alberts, Julie Nagel,
The Nagels.
et al.
The Nagels.
Presently before the court is Carney's motion to vacate several protective orders. Footnote 1. Although Carney's motion is titled as one requesting documents be released from impoundment, the documents at issue are subject to protective orders, not impoundment.
And that was an issue the first time they did it. They kept saying, well, what's the difference? Like, there is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Presently before the court is Carney's motion to vacate several protective orders that prohibit the dissemination of discovery material provided to him by the Commonwealth. For the following reasons, Carney's motion is denied.
Okay, well, that might be a good thing. She's
Can't
not
say
gonna
that I
like-
agree with
they're not
this
gonna like it.
ruling, but I can try and explain it to you in the way that the court has reasoned it to go. Discussion. Carney requests that this court allow certain unspecified text messages and emails from police officers, district attorneys, and, quote, connected civilians.
They're going to
end
quote a
quote,
show. You watch.
Be available for public viewing. Be available for public viewing. Period. In support, Carney raises two arguments. First, he asserts that he and his lawyers have a First Amendment interest in disseminating information procured through discovery. Docket number 89, paragraph 10. Second, Carney contends the protective orders must be vacated because the Commonwealth has not demonstrated that an actual threat exists as to the witness or victim if the information is disseminated. The court disagrees.
What's a footnote
Roman
say?
1, First Amendment challenge. The public has a First Amendment right of access to criminal trials and related criminal proceedings. See Globe Newspaper Company versus Superior Court, cited for the premise that the press and general public have a constitutional right of access to criminal trials. Note the difference here between criminal trials and discovery. And in another case, Press Enterprise Company, First Amendment right of public access to criminal trials extends to voir dire proceedings. This right of access generally extends to judicial documents filed in connection with pretrial proceedings, citing Globe Newspaper Company. There is a First Amendment right of access to records submitted in connection with criminal proceedings. Such a right of access does not, however, extend to materials obtained during discovery. See Seattle Times Company, holding that pretrial interrogatories and depositions were not open to the public at common law. U.S. v. Anderson, documents collected during discovery are not, quote, judicial records, end quote. This is because discovery, whether civil or criminal, is essentially a private process because the litigants and the courts assume that the sole purpose of discovery is to assist trial preparation. Exactly. It will all come out eventually, Kai Mai says, and it will. And I will tell you how, and I will tell you why. Better said, patience. Here, the large number of text.
We'll let you guys go over to Melanie's channel and check that out. We just wanted to kind of see what was going on since she went live on a Friday night. That was interesting. She's always interesting. I like the way she breaks down the law and helps us understand it better. The Chiefs are behind. It is 7-0, the Los Angeles Rams. I actually have the Los Angeles Rams kicker on my fantasy football team. So, and I actually like the Rams, Julie, because I lived out in LA twice in my life. And so even though I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm also a Rams fan. They're my other favorite team.
Aren't they playing the Chargers?
Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. I confused that. You're right. They're playing the Chargers. I have the Rams kicker, not the Chargers kicker. I like the Chargers because right. So I like I liked the San Diego Chargers when they were in San Diego because I lived in San Diego back in the day. And then the LA Rams are my other favorite too. I kept thinking they were playing the Rams today. The Chargers and the Rams love to confuse us because they have the same colors. And now they're both in LA and they play in the same freaking stadium.
Yep.
So they're trying to make us nuts in football land with the same colors, the same stadium, and they're both in LA. They could have just left the San Diego Chargers alone down in San Diego. Should have built them a new stadium down there, Julie.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. But no, this is good for division rivalries. I mean, you have the LA whatchamacallits, the LA Chargers and the Chiefs. Rams. And then Sunday night you have the Bills and the Ravens. So that's going to be a dynamite game. But it's too early. You couldn't do that in like November, December when it gets cold up in Buffalo.
I know it's early. It's early though. But they play each other twice sometimes in a season.
No, just once because they're not division.
That's right.
They're AFC rivals. Like that's like it's the Chiefs and then Buffalo and the Ravens are usually like 2 and 3. So
they don't get to play each other twice. That's right.
Just a good one.
Well, I am ready to call it a night. Do we have anything else that was important that we had to chat about? Otherwise, we can save it for next Friday.
Oh, wait a second. Yes. I mean, not. Let me see if I can if I can see this, because hang on. Talk amongst yourselves for 1 second.
Julie's looking for one last thing.
This is involved. I mean, this involves Boston, and this involves some of the other stuff that went on too. How is it? Let's see. Was this? No. Oh, look, it's Sue BC. Sue BC.
JFK just went live too, talking about.
Oh, he's probably talking about Francis Gigliotti.
Yeah, talking about Francis Gigliotti. Yep, he just went live a few minutes ago. So, thank you, ladies. Enjoyed the game. Yeah, Shauna says I'm not watching that game. Oh, yeah, it'll be halftime. Let me see. It's going to be halftime soon, Shauna. So we'll have time to chit chat a few minutes off stage.
Just one moment, please. Let me see. You know, we might have to do it from this end. I want to show this because this popped up as breaking news, and this
more
is
breaking news on a Friday.
Well, this was yeah. I mean, there was well, again, it's Friday, so like the city councilor is going to jail is going to federal prison for a month. The Francis Gigliotti stuff dropped, but this also dropped too because I was watching this, and you know, it's hard to find Channel 7 WHDH on YouTube because I have no idea. Is that a halibut? Holy shit. Oh, sorry. Focus, Julie, focus. Where the hell is it that one? Yeah, it's hard to find WHDH on YouTube because they changed their name a couple times, and every single time you search for it, it comes up with either stuff that happened like 11 years ago or it comes up with something in another part of the country. But where I know I saw it here. Maybe it's on SuBC too. Oh, for Christ's sakes, hang on. Let me see. It was NBC 10. Talk amongst yourselves. What's happening in the game? Can you see it?
I've got it on my phone. The Chargers are up. The Chargers are up 7-0, and it's the end of the first quarter. So it hasn't been a lot of excitement. The Chargers scored pretty early in the first quarter. When I first turned it on, they had just scored. There was like 12 minutes left in the first quarter. Let me see here. I thought something came up about Suzanne Morphew, but it's just somebody making a comment on my post from today on Facebook. If you don't follow on Facebook, consider it. It's I post all the live streams that we do. I post updates on all the cases of all the victims that we're advocating for during the week, the ones that we're advocating for the families, and we'll continue to do so until they get justice. So consider following us on Facebook. It's just my name, Catherine Felton Page on Facebook, and then Twitter is it's at DuneCat14. So you just do at DuneCat14 if you're interested in being on Twitter at all. It can be kind of dicey over there on Twitter now.
Okay.
Now that Elon Musk has no rules whatsoever, apparently, for content, and people just can go on Twitter and say whatever they want.
Well, except when you say something against
people. What? Twitter is just kind of an
well,
open
except when you say something about him. All right, can you share?
Yeah, Twitter's just an open, free range. So be careful if you do decide to go on Twitter. Is that it?
Twitter should just be thrown in the ocean, as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
well, there's
I'm
good
sure
things about it. So
that's where I get my scuttlebutt, but it's
can't throw
bad.
everything in the ocean for the bad part of it, because I wouldn't have met Ed Byers. I wouldn't have met at least 10 people that I'm in contact with that I share information with on these cases. So no, I don't want Twitter to be thrown in the river, Julie, or the ocean. But there's got to be a way to short up, and there's got to be a way to punish people longer when they pull nasty shenanigans, because the stuff that's gone on in the Free Karen Read movement amongst each other and
yes.
the anti,
and we're going to see that right here.
Yeah,
we're going to see that right here.
Despicable. And so it's despicable. So people should be punished longer. Their Twitter accounts should be put in timeout longer for being nasty humans and sharing personal information and sharing crap that should have been dealt with between the two. People don't always get along. You can't have a movement as big as the Free Karen Read movement, guys, and expect everybody to get along all the time. It's not going to happen. But stuff should be taken care of in private, not in private text messages and emails, not all over Twitter X. It's just gross. It's just become very gross. Those of you that are still participating in being mean girls on Twitter X and being nasty humans, if you're a guy and you're participating in all the nastiness, just stop it. Just stop it. You're gross, and most of us all think you're gross, because Twitter is supposed to be a place where you can converse, share information, learn something, learn about information. It was never ever designed to be a free-for-all where people can slam each other and dox each other and hate on each other. It was never ever set up for that.
Sure. Well, I mean, it seems like some places are taking that a little bit more seriously than others. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Massachusetts, but it seems like New Jersey has something to say about that. And good luck, Donna. But anyways, so speaking of mean girl stuff, and the Free Karen Read group of people, there was some mean girl stuff that was done after the verdict in the Karen Read case, and a certain person was told another certain person, "You're only in this for the attention. Why don't you find a case that's that has no attention and do something with it?" Well, that person took that to heart and did something with it, and we're going to see what that person did.
Good for her. Proud
Make
of
the
her.
voices heard on how bad the
Me
situation has
too.
gotten, or Michael Rosenfeld has more on what people had to say.
Mass incarceration has been a problem for years, but nobody has been able to figure out how to solve.
Okay, so this is Boston, Massachusetts. This is what they're talking about. Mass incarceration. This is called Melanie Cass and Massachusetts Dev. It's an intersection where Boston Medical Center is nearby. The theater district is not too far away, and there are a lot of homeless shelters. And so there have been over the last couple of years an encampment where there's drugs and all sorts of issues that go on. And the mayor hasn't done a bunch with it. We're like, well, what are we going to do? We can't arrest them. We can't do this. We can't do that. So we'll just leave them there. It's kind of overrun, and people in the community have had enough, and that's what's going on here.
The issue. Tonight, City Council held a special hearing here at the Hampton Inn in the Mass and Cass neighborhood.
There's a lot of frustrated people.
Boston City Council looking at whether it makes sense to deem Mass and Cass a public health emergency.
I am disgusted with the way the city has taken care of this problem. Really, nothing has happened. All we've done is cleaned a little bit in Mass Cass, and it has all dispersed to the neighborhood. So the quality of life has gone downhill faster than a ski slope.
The neighborhood has been a hotbed of drugs and mental illness for years. This couple says just last month, a homeless man broke into their home.
He'd been using a stolen key to come and go late at night and early in the mornings, sleeping among the construction debris and defecating in our living room. I'll say that again, differently. He pooped in my house.
People who live nearby say the issues in the troubled area have only gotten worse since the city cleared out the tent encampments, and crime is spreading into residential areas of the South End and Roxbury.
This is a public health crisis. This is a public safety crisis, and we need a recovery campus in Boston.
City officials say declaring a public health emergency will do nothing. It won't unlock funds or resources. They acknowledge quality of life issues like fights and alcohol have gotten worse, but say major crime in the area has gone down.
We want to make sure that you understand that we understand that this is a humanitarian crisis, and we feel the urgency. But a public health emergency is not the way to go. It's not going to do anything in this case.
The Wu administration says 55 people a week on average are being connected with services, and arrests for drugs are up 85% since last year. They're increasing patrols with newly graduated police officers, adding a bike patrol, and increasing needle pickup hours. The residents say they're tired of statistics and meetings and want something done.
It breaks my heart on what's going on in the South End. I lost a nephew 4 years ago from substance abuse. Why? Because Mass and Cass.
As for a public health emergency, there was no vote. City Council could vote on this next week in Boston.
Oh,
Michael
damn it.
Rosenfield, NBC 10 Boston.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well,
We've been using IXL for as long as my kids have been in school as just a supplement to their learning. It covers the subjects of math.
That's my bad.
That's okay. That was interesting. I didn't know anything about this. That was an interesting clip, and hearing from all those.
The worst thing about it.
Hearing from all the concerned
the laughter.
citizens that were there.
Let's see. Hang on.
in that meeting.
Well, hang on. So, does nobody else have this? Hang on. Let me try one more. Hang on one second. Because I want to give this justice, because I saw this and other people online pointed it out, and some people were giving this person a hard time for God knows whatever reason. And I saw a couple other people, and good for them, saying, I don't know why you're giving this person a hard time. She's doing basically what.
Well, I don't have a problem with you saying her name. I mean, she has a Facebook page, and it's been on there.
No, wait. I want people to see before we spill the beans. But I know I saw her up here somewhere. Come on, damn it. Let's see. There's so much stuff with that they were. Oh my God, really? I didn't see this on WCVB. For God's sakes. All right, hang on.
Fine. It's okay. Take your time.
Oh, God damn it.
The worst thing about it.
No, Lawrence O'Donnell. We didn't want to hear from you right now.
New tonight, a hearing was held revolving around this, the growing public and safety issues in the Mass and Cass area. During
people a week on average last year. They're increasing patrols with newly graduated police officers, adding a bike patrol, and increasing needle pickup hours. Residents say they're tired of statistics and meetings and want something done.
It breaks my heart on what's going on.
All right, so we don't see her speak in this one, but she does speak, and she voices her community. She voices her concern because she does live in the area. But you can see here, this is Esty, who everybody shit on for God knows whatever reason, gave her a hard time, but she's in the area, and she's making a difference, and she found something that wasn't as glamorous that everybody gives her a hard time.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand it whatsoever. I've actually written back and forth with Esty a little bit during the 2 trials, because I wrote to her a couple of times praising her for how she was helping give rides to the law students who were helping with the attorneys, and she wanted to chip in and do whatever she could do, because this was happening in her community. imagine if this was happening here in my community, I would want to help out in any way that I could. And I wouldn't do it for like clicks and likes and all that bullshit. And I don't believe at all that she was doing it for any reason other than to be a good human. And she's very interested in true crime, and true crime came right to her backyard. Guys, think about it. If you're interested in true crime and you follow cases, and then all of a sudden one of the cases of a decade comes right into your backyard, you'd probably want to go do something, volunteer, stand out, hold a sign. And the thing about Etsy is she wasn't just doing it for this one purpose. She was holding signs all during the first trial, out there in the cold weather, being part of the Free Karen Read movement. And then all of a sudden she becomes person non grata. I don't understand it whatsoever. Like, someone help me. If you know, I'll put my email back up here again. If you know why, I want to understand it, because I invited her to come on our show, even though we're just a small, we're small.
Well, I'm going to have to find a.
I wanted to know if she wanted to tell us, if she knew in her heart what happened. Like, why did they turn on her like they did? Because they were nasty. They were just attacking her on Twitter X, on Facebook. Undeserved, makes no sense to me whatsoever. If you're in the know and you know why this happened, but even so, if you don't like someone, then don't like someone. Don't like try to humiliate them and make fun of them like you're a bunch of like 12-year-olds, even 12-year-olds.
They're bullies. They're jealous bullies who have nothing going for them, and they decided to attack her.
Why are you bullying someone?
Good for you, SD. God
Right?
bless. I hope that you do well, because this needs to be cleaned up in the city of Boston. I mean, this is a black mark on the city of Boston. It should have never have gotten this bad. And
yeah,
good luck with it.
So I'm really glad.
More power to you.
I'm happy for her that she found something of interest, and I'm sure it had nothing to do with someone challenging her in a nasty way to find something of interest. I think she just wanted to help. It's in her community. There we go. It's in her community, and she just wanted to help. So thanks for reminding. I was going to mention that tonight too, Julie. Thank you so much for remembering that, because Etsy seems like a kind soul, a really sweet human being. And I'm just so tired of all the bullying on the internet, and especially in the Free Karen Read movement amongst each other. Even if you feel that you have a right to defend yourself, which you do against bullies, but then when you do that, then that just gives them more oxygen, and then they just come back, and then you defend yourself, and then they come back at you, and and it just becomes, it's turning, Twitter X into a cesspool of nastiness for everybody that follows true crime in the Karen Read realm. Now has to see all this on a daily basis. If you're on Twitter X or on Facebook, you can't help but see it, because it's not like millions of people are in the Karen Read movement and continue to follow what's going on every day with the aftermath of the trial. So everyone's forced to see all this kind of crazy hate that's been going on, and not just towards Etsy, but there's other people that were involved in the Free Karen Read movement that are still, throwing slurs around and attacking people. And I just don't get it, Julie. I'm just so sick of it, and I'm so over having to see it. And it just, again, if you can be kind to someone and nice to someone, even when they don't agree with you, that's like a huge, great trait to have, because you're not always going to agree with everyone. You're not always going to get along. So then if this person on the internet that is following the case you're following, if they turn out to be a bully, you really can't do much about it, because they're kind of protected. They're kind of insulated, because they're sitting in their house, behind closed doors on a computer or on an iPad or on their phone. And the law protects them in so many ways. YouTube won't kick them off, even hardly even ban anyone for being nasty on their shows. And Twitter's not doing much about it. A few of the bullies have had their accounts shut down for a few days. That's always good to see. But it's not enough as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's the checks and balances people got to clean this crap up, because, nobody wants to see it, and nobody should be bullied on social media ever. If you don't like them, don't like them. Just move along, go find friends.
Thank God that there are some, I mean, it seems like Massachusetts is starting to turn a little bit to say like, hey, maybe there's something we can do about it. And there are other states in the union, like, I don't know, New Jersey, that seem to be doing something about this. Class 4 felony.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. Well, my mom just texted me, I can't believe you're not watching this game.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well.
Hey, you know what? It's Friday Night Lives, Mom. We got to do what we got to do. Julie and I got to do our thing on Friday night. So
we have to bitch about Massachusetts.
There is a whole second half of the first game of the season to go. And I've been keeping a little eye on it here on my phone. Nothing too exciting is happening as of yet, but the Chargers are up 10-0 for those of you that are
good.
Chargers fans. So go to everybody that you love, your teams that you love to follow. My fantasy football team, we'll see how I come out. I'll let you guys know next week how my fantasy team does this weekend. And my Badgers play tomorrow. So tomorrow's my favorite day of the week. Saturday's college football's on. There's a really good game tomorrow as well. Michigan is playing. Who is Michigan playing? I got to go double check.
Wait, Michigan or Michigan State? Because Michigan State's playing BC in the red bandana game, and that's a special game.
Yeah.
And they're shit talking BC for God knows whatever reason. So
one thing you can rely on with me, and it's funny you would bring that up. When I say Michigan, I mean Michigan. When I say Michigan State, I say Michigan State. When I say Iowa, I mean Iowa. And if I'm talking about the Cyclones, I'm going to say Iowa State, because a friend of mine was texting with me the other day and he goes, "Oh, Iowa just did this, that, the other." And I said, "No, they didn't. They're not even playing yet." He goes, "Yeah, they just scored." I'm like, "No, you're watching the Iowa State game. That's a totally different team." I'm giving him shit right now because I'm like, you cannot call Iowa State Iowa and you cannot call Iowa State. No, they're totally different universities. So if you're going to follow college sports people, don't shorten up. There's nothing more than a state school hates worse when they have state after their name if you don't put it there, because that is the name of their university. They are not Michigan Spartans. They are the Michigan State Spartans, and they are not Iowa Cyclones. They are the Iowa State Cyclones. And there's plenty of other schools. There's Penn State. Don't call them Penn, because that's a separate school, people. So anyway, we're just having fun with you. But that made me laugh, Julie, that you wanted me to clarify. But if I talk college sports, you are guaranteed, after being raised by my parents, big time sports fans, that I will always say the school right. So the University of Michigan Wolverines, they're ranked 15th. And let me go tell you, that's a good game tomorrow if you're into college sports. It's the only ranked game, I believe, of the day tomorrow. The only ranked versus ranked. I mean, there's plenty of ranked teams playing, but here, let me go tell you, because I forgot who they're playing now. They're in Texas. I don't remember if they're playing TCU or no, because TCU's, oh no, I take that back. They're in Oklahoma. They're not playing TCU's not ranked. They're playing Oklahoma. So Oklahoma's ranked 18th. So that's Michigan 15 versus Oklahoma 18. That's on ABC tomorrow night's game, ABC night game at 7:30 Eastern. That'll be a really good one. I'm looking forward to that. My Badgers are in a non-conference game, so all we have to do is play good, and we should win. We don't want any upsets from these non-conference games. Everybody else is, Ohio State's non-conference. Georgia is non-conference. The top 10, Penn State, number 2. Yeah, pretty much the whole top 10 is non-conference now. The second week is typically like that if you didn't play a ranked team. But my Badgers have a big deal coming up. They're going to be playing Alabama in Alabama. And Alabama did get, was in a game with Florida State. They got technically upset last weekend because Florida State wasn't ranked. Now they are. But Alabama was ranked 6th, I believe, and they got upset by Florida State. So we have to play Alabama in Tuscaloosa. That we're kind of rebuilding right now under our new head coach, Luke Fickell. So it's going to be a real tough order to go on the road and come home with a win from Alabama, in my opinion. But I will obviously watch and cheer for my Badgers, Julie. So who you like to follow Boston College? Is that who you follow in college sports?
Oh God, no. It's so I'll watch BC just because Billy O'Brien, who used to be the offensive coordinator for the Patriots, is coaching there now, and it's basically the only local team that does anything. And they do like certain special games, but this is a special game. It's called the Red Bandana game.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one. That's for the guy. That's for the guy that passed away on Flight 93, right?
I don't know if he was on Flight 93. I thought he worked in the World Trade Center, but he was there. He worked in the World Trade Center, and when he played on the football team, he had a red bandana, and so they do a big thing where they do ceremony. Everybody has red bandana stuff.
I love that.
And Michigan State, I thought they played Michigan State last year too. I think they're playing Michigan State this year. And for whatever reason, Michigan State decided to shit talk them, like, oh, they stormed the field because you beat a non-conference whatever by a point. And they're like, no, we stormed the field because we won the red bandana game. It's a big deal because like the kid's mother was on the field last year. Like they made this big thing out of it. It was raining. It was like, oh, this is a big thing. And I think it's on NBC. it's tomorrow night, so they make a big deal out of it. But for God knows whatever reason, Michigan State was shit talking BC.
But remember, don't it's not all of Michigan State, because my friend is a huge Michigan State fan. She's a grad. She would never shit talk you guys for the red bandana game. She's a good human. It's always a handful of idiots that ruin it for everyone. Whenever we play Michigan State, their fans are always super nice and respectful when I go on the road there. And I met Jeannie when she was on the road in Wisconsin during a Michigan.
Oh, look at the puppy yawn.
Yes, hello. He says, I've had a very emotional night because my puppet decided to go out.
Look at their face. Now mine's gonna get jealous.
I've had a very
look at that face. Oh my goodness, look at the face. Oh yeah, he's upset.
Thank you everyone for allowing the Doberman. He's had a very emotional night because his papa's not home, so he gets very emotional.
Puppy, what's your take on the Karen Reed situation?
Oh, he's been here for it all, you guys. He's been with us for the whole year of live streaming. The Zeus the Goose. Yeah, he's been with us.
Oh,
what's your puppy up to?
Look at his face. Oh no, he's inside because if I put him on the porch with me, he'd go wandering around.
Oh
and
yeah,
really try to pop me. So
yeah. Hang on, I'm checking to see what time your game is. Let's see here. Let me go to.
It's 8:00 tomorrow.
Is it 8 tomorrow night? Let's see. Texas A&M is playing Utah State. I'm looking for it here. Let's see here. My Brewers are really, the Milwaukee Brewers are just on a roll. Now they did lose yesterday. I don't know what the score is today. I have to go back up to the top to see. I'm just looking for the football game first. Where is that game? Why is it not showing up on here for me? I can't find it. It's not showing up in the list of who's going to be playing. Oh, it's just showing me all the ranked teams right now. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look on a different page. Or no, they're not. Yeah, I got all the top 25 set up to look at so I don't look at everything. So I'll have to go back and look for you. But I'll pay attention to that game tomorrow night because Jeannie, my friend's a Michigan State fan. Let me see what happened to the Brewers today. They were playing. Oh, they're winning. Thank goodness. It's 4-2 because the Pirates won yesterday. The Brewers won the first game. The Pirates won yesterday. We gotta get this one because the Pirates, they're 64-77. I don't think they're gonna make it. So they're having fun right now. Basically, when you're not making the playoffs, you're just gonna try to take out the teams that are. You're gonna try to be as good as you possibly can be. And play spoiler right now. No one's taking us out. I mean, we're making the playoffs. We're 86-55. Oh wait, I got to show you my new hat. Hang on, I ordered it for my friend Scott because we were talking. Hang on, I told him I didn't have a Brewer hat, and then let me get it. He and I were texting about the Brewers and how great they are and how scary it's going to be because there's so many good teams this year too. But we still have the best record in baseball, which is phenomenal. And I've owned many Brewers T-shirts. And back in the day when I was a kid, my dad would take me to the giveaway games, and I had a Brewer helmet when I was a kid, and I had the bat and had all of it. But I have never had a Brewers female baseball cap. So there, I finally have one. It says MKE on it, which is so cool. Initials for Milwaukee. And it's the baby blue, which I love, of the Brewers, and the dark blue. So now I have a Brewers baseball hat, and I ordered it as fast as I could because he said, wait a minute, if you're telling me you've never had a Brewers baseball cap and now you've got to get one because otherwise that'll be a jinx, because he believes in the jinx. I'm going to tell him, I'm going to text him right now and tell him I was talking about him on the live stream.
So if they lose, it's all your fault. Got it.
Exactly. He and I had many arguments through the years about this, and I would be like, no, I don't believe that I am responsible for jinxing an entire team. Like there's no,
it's you and only you.
Right. Cause we'd be talking and I'd say, I'd be watching a game, let's say, and I'd text him and say, go Pat, go. What a great play that was. And he'd say, don't jinx us. There's still 4 minutes to go. And then we'd lose. And then he'd write to me, jinx. I'm like, no, it's not possible for me to jinx an entire team. I don't
see
have
what you did. It's all your fault.
I don't have those powers. So anyway, go to all of your teams that you love tomorrow. Enjoy college football. Enjoy pro football. Julie and I will be back next Friday Night Lives, as always. And if you have any content that you're interested in, now that the Karen Reed trial is over, Friday Night Lives is no longer doing Karen Reed trial review. We're basically just focusing in on any other crime and corruption that's out there in other trials and other cases that we're following, and anything else that's going on, with the aftermath of the Karen Reed trial, of course, and with Aiden, and with the case against Brian Walsh, and justice for Anna Walsh, and justice for Sandra Birchmore. So we'll just be back every Friday night, but we're happy to cover something. If you have an interest in it, just send me an email and let me know.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that's still coming. I mean, don't pack your bags in Massachusetts just yet. I mean, there's a lot of stuff still going on up here.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Julie. You're the best co-host ever. I appreciate you so much on Friday Night Lies. Thanks to all of our regulars, our friends in the friend zone that we've become friends with. Thanks to Shauna and MCAT and Kaz, and I think Patricia was with us for a while tonight. I'm sure that Kathy Coppins and Kim will probably watch on the replay since we went early. To those of you that will watch on the replay, thank you very much for being part of Social Change Warriors. Thanks for continuing to support and advocate for all the victims of homicide with us. So we'll be back next week. It's just us. My life mattered. Good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Thanks again, Julie. Good night, all. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves and your family.
They try to silence the truth we shout, but we're still here, we're still calling out. Corruption hides behind a badge and name. We light the fire, expose the shame. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us. We're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. The stories echo, the pain runs deep. For stolen lives we can't just weep. Elected power, but their hearts are cold. We'll bring the truth, let it be told. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight. The heroes undo the harm. Calling out corruption, we'll stand tall. For justice and truth, we'll risk it all. My life mattered is the cry we sing. Together we rise, let freedom ring.
You still there, Julie?
Good job. Good job.
Oi. Hey.
Hang on a second. We're still live. Sorry, everybody. I didn't hit the cut us off. I was playing our song and I didn't get a chance to cut us off because I had to let the dogs out. So
good thing. I think I just flashed the internet then.
Oh no, I hope not.
No, you're public. Yep. Thank you, Shauna.
We can do the old edit. We can go into the YouTube studio and do the old edit. So good night, everyone. Thanks a lot for being with us tonight. We'll see you next week.
They try to silence the truth we shout, but we're still here, we're still calling out. Corruption hides behind a badge of name. We light the fire, expose the shame. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. The stories echo, the pain runs deep. For stolen lives we can't just weep. Elected power but their hearts are cold. We'll bring the truth, let it be told. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight. The heroes undo the harm. Calling out corruption, we'll stand tall for justice and truth, we'll risk it all. My life